Okay, guys, let's get going. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for education, entertainment purposes. I wanted to just fit in a live stream real quick. I know it's New Year's Day. I'm not sure we'll get a lot of people to join, but I thought I might as well just fit it in if we can. And I hope everyone had a great New Year. I think 2025 is going to be an amazing year for us and a lot of opportunity ahead. And 2025, I think, will be known for a lot of volatility, a lot of choppiness, and we should have a really big sell-off this year. To what extent that sell-off will end up being is still unknown at this point, but I think the odds are really in favor of a big sell-off in the markets. So I think that will create opportunities for everyone, as selling and volatility usually do. So I just posted a market update, and you can watch that video. Pretty much what I'm thinking from the long-term perspective, just to give you an idea. Just kind of looking at the charts more closely. If we go to the SPY, I'm looking for one more high and then a bigger decline. And this is really the key. This decline will come in 25. I do believe it's a four wave that pairs with this two wave. I did have this labeled as an end in diagonal. I don't think that's the right look for it. Also, the monthly RSI doesn't have divergence at this peak. I want to see a monthly RSI divergence. This 4 and 5 should allow that. Also, there's a lot of sectors that are just so beaten up, so dead, left for dead. This 5 will allow those sectors to really pump, and other sectors could trade lower to sideways as money rotates into those. And then at this fifth wave, everything's ready to drop at that point. So it makes a lot of sense to me. Of course, Moon Boy theory is it's a 1-2-1-2 and we'll just moon. I don't believe that's the case. I think big cap tech would have to go even higher and more crazy than it's been, and I just don't think it has the energy to do that. So I don't think it's Moon Boy is the right call for this count. I do think it's a 4 and a 5, and I think we'll get this 4 this year. The other situation is wave 5 could extend, which could become a 1-2-1-2 within the fifth wave, which could drop us to 400 SPY, 420 SPY, which would feel like a super crash for most people. But then that would still continue the bubble in the mania phase as this fifth wave plays out. So you can't rule that situation out. So that could also happen this year. So we could really have a historic meltdown. Either a nice little crash down to 512 before people realize what happens, and a fifth wave that finishes this year, and the whole market tops this year, and then going into October in the fall, we have the historic crash. Or we set up for a 1-2-1-2 where it's mostly down the whole year, and we start to recover toward the end of the year in a 1-2-1-2 setup as 5 extends. Or it's a 1-2-1-2, and then this is a 1-2 as well, and you get the Moon Boy where this isn't a wave 5 but a 3 of 3, where you're in wave 3 still of a grand super cycle, and that would be also viable. So you have three scenarios where it's viable, but there's one scenario where this isn't viable, and that is we've already topped or about to, and this is labeled wrong. I'm going to go back to the labeling I had earlier where it's an end in diagonal. If I label this as an end in diagonal, then it's over already. It's already over, and we shouldn't even make another high here. So I think we wouldn't even make this little push higher. So the end in diagonal theory really comes into play as we really start breaking down from here and we don't get this final push to 620. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But I don't think it's likely, looking at the R size closely and the wave count and being intellectually honest, because if this is a 2, you really don't have a 4 wave that matches in intensity and complexity as you do here. So you really are missing this pullback with another high, which should create that monthly RSI divergence within this leg that I'm looking for. Although we do have it across the fifth wave here, across this leg and this peak, which is why it's a 5. So going into the year, we're going to see a lot of selling, I think. A lot of selling. And it's unknown, is the selling going to be to 512 or is it going to be to 420? or is this labeled wrong and we did peak and it's just a collapse like no one's ever seen before? But one of the but I think in every scenario except for one, it's going lower, and then some type of recovery, and that's what I see with the market. So you should want to get defensive. Like the idea is to be defensive and allow this to play out, or a 1-2 to play out and it goes even deeper, a 1-2-1-2, and then the wave 5 bubble can extend. And again, there's a lot of sectors that are so beat up right now that don't really support the whole cycle being over for the whole grand super cycle just yet. I think you've got other sectors that need the pump, unless there's a lot of companies going out of business. Household names will go out of business, and that would be a financial Armageddon meltdown. So we have to think that this will happen. Something like this is going to happen to allow those sectors, those companies to get some room on the chart to allow it to drop. And that's what we saw in 2008 and 2009 before it crashed. We had those, so I think that's what we're going to see in this fifth wave. So the sectors we want to buy here, the ones we want to stay long are those sectors that are beat up, that need room to go higher, companies that have charts that need to pump a little bit more. And then the other stuff that's pumped should trade sideways to lower, could make a marginal high, but or have already topped and will really start to crash in this wave down. And then this is they'll make a connector wave here. All right, let's go to your questions, guys. Let's go to your questions. I did have a good new year. I appreciate all the people asking about that. I hope everyone on this channel had a good happy new year. And within Bitcoin, so how does this correlate with Bitcoin? Well, one, if this chart happens, Bitcoin shouldn't collapse, right? Bitcoin should continue higher after this pullback, whatever this pullback is coming. But we know Bitcoin, we've never seen Bitcoin trade in a bear market before, okay? Right, a true bear market. It wasn't around in the 70s. It wasn't around during the 08, collapse. So we don't really know. So I always say you just trust the chart you have. We trust the chart we have. We don't try to guess where it's going to go based on what we think it's going to happen. That's how a lot of traders lose all their money, because they try to think the market is chess. Like, I can outsmart it. I'm like, well, the market, this will do this, then that will do that, then because of that, that will happen, and therefore that's my thesis, and I'm going to do that. You would think Bitcoin would sell off on this fifth wave here, but Bitcoin has made a lot of room already from its low. So it has a lot of room to drop, right? So maybe, again, big picture, if the indices want to make this peak and drop, the indices drop all the way back down to these areas, maybe Bitcoin could hold that 17,000 low. Maybe Bitcoin makes another high, and then it creates that whole cycle, but holds 17,000, right? I don't know. Or maybe not. Maybe people flood into Bitcoin as a safe haven, and it moons in a wave 3 of 3. So Bitcoin, we'll go back to Bitcoin's chart. Let me go back to the Bitcoin here and see. But basically, Bitcoin should be supported, and I don't think Bitcoin is done going higher. I just don't think it's done going higher. And then we can decide where to go from there. But yeah, basically, Bitcoin should continue to extend right now after this pullback. So Bitcoin has a 1-2-1-2 setup. So we're in another, it's hard to see it, but we're in another one. We're in another wave 2. So Bitcoin is in a different count. So Bitcoin's in this wave 2 count. So if I just trust this chart, Bitcoin should be extended in a 3 of 3. Perhaps when the indices make its fifth wave, this whole cycle will play out. We'll get 3 of 3. It will top at 250,000, somewhere up there, and then it could correct the whole move again, the whole grand super cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why I want to be in crypto. That's why crypto is on my shopping list. If crypto can come down here, because crypto could be a nice sector to be in this year in this wave 3. Now, Of course, there's an alternative view on what this cycle could be. There's an alternative view. Some people don't view it this way, and we can't be too bullish, but we have to just trade the chart. So the chart says it should bounce here, but if it's not going to do that, we will fall below 72,000, and we should cut through this like butter. Now, if that happens, then you know it's over, because then you're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this whole cycle is over. Some people feel that that's the count, that this is wrong. What I have here is wrong. I think this is too long in complexity and time. I believe this correction corrected this whole cycle, but some people don't believe that. Some people don't. Elliott Wave purists believe it's a 3, it's a 4, and we're in a 5. They believe that. Okay? You do have bearish divergence on this leg, so it's possible. So we can't be too stupid to think that that won't happen. But I don't think that's the way the chart looks to me. It just doesn't look that way to me. Now, if it is that, then this could correct. So yeah, you're right. It could have a meltdown. It could come all the way down, bounce, and just keep going all the way down. It could correct this whole leg as long as it stays above 16, 17,000. It could correct this whole cycle. Now, this clearly looks like 3 waves, so it doesn't look like it should go below 17. It doesn't look like that to me. So to me, it looks like a 1. So yeah, it's either a 1, 2, 1, 2, or it's what I have. Now think about it. If this was the top of the bubble, there should have been so much leverage in the system. We should already be down here. We're not. Why is it taking so long? What the hell? Why is it taking? Because there's not as much leverage in the system as we think. Yeah, MicroStrategy levered up, and he is getting blown up. His chart is blown up, right? He took too much leverage. He got too excited, too giddy buying the dip here, and now his chart's blowing up. But a lot of miners are way oversold. So there's not as much leverage in the system as people think, because people are scared buying in this area, and there's a lot of worry. And people are biting their fingernails and nervous. And again, I'm so smart. It's just going to go down because it's going to go down. I think those people are making a big mistake thinking that. But do I think this will I think this will play out that I have here, and then I think it's supported. And there's a lot of fundamental reasons why people would want to FOMO back in here, but I think we would have collapsed much more. I think if this was 5, I think we would be already here. We would be building a connector wave here right now and meandering in this area. If I truly thought this was a 5, I just don't think it's going to melt down much more from here without a substantial relief rally, which should take it to new highs. And if we break highs, then I think you have a 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't think this is a 3, 4, right? I don't think that's a 3, 4 either, because you don't have the divergence erased. It'll be another 1, 2. So I don't know. Again, I want to answer the Bitcoin chart because it's important to people. People want to know it. I wouldn't worry too much about what's happening at Bitcoin unless we're below this peak again. That's how I would look at it. But I think it would have happened by now. It's burning RSI. It's burning RSI as time. Time is burning the cycle. The cycle is burning RSI. Look at the hidden bullish divergence in RSI. Look at where RSI trades at 94,000. The last time we were here, we were trading at 61,000. There's a hidden bullish divergence in the RSI. We're burning RSI. So, guys, I mean, I'm just saying, if you're hoping for it's just going to do that, I doubt it's not likely unless this RSI comes back up again and we get a big connector wave out, and then maybe you could get another flush if you're hoping for that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's just my personal belief. So the crypto market, I think, is buyable in this area. But until then, I'm on the sidelines. All right, let's go to your questions, guys. Let's jump into your questions. Again, thanks for joining on the super chat. Dylan, TRUG. I don't know this TRUG, but we'll take a look at it real quick. True Golf Holdings, penny stock. Again, these go to zero stocks kind of like this. We just trade off the last lone pivot, and we look off of it to see if we can spot a trend. You could see made a lower low here, so it's been bullish off of this low. And then we kind of look at the wave structure and see, looks like 5 waves off that low to me, with bearish divergence at the peak. And now you pulled back and it looks like you have 3 up. So it looks like to me you have another leg higher should happen, at least. So be looking for another leg higher. But this is in no man's land. This is a sidelines area. If you have no position, you don't take a position here. But it is a dip buy opportunity for you gamblers out there at 46.6. If it wants to take a dump down there, that would be the area where it could find support. But it doesn't have to go down there. It could already be done its cycle here. But looking at the 3-wave nature, it looks like it probably have more downside. But I do think it makes another high, and then who knows? So, but because it looks like it's 5 up, it looks like to me that that you'll get another leg higher. You'll get another leg higher with at least another leg higher. You'll just get another leg higher. So that's kind of what I would play that, and then SMX. Again, same thing. We'll look at the chart. This one's a little different. Looks like not a lot of trading history on it. Looks like you have higher highs, which is interesting. Here, that looks like 5 down. So some kind of flat look, right? I mean, some kind of flat type pattern. My guess is you got to be careful. It's already finished its Y leg, and it's in a decline phase. Yeah, so you are in a danger area that the pump is over, and there's not enough chart history to really anticipate where it's going to go. But you're in a new connector wave. You're in a new X that could take it all the way back down to the lows or even break them. And then before you get another pump higher, look how long this W leg took. It took multiple swings. You should see the same kind of erratic action in this X wave. I don't think it's unlikely Y will extend beyond that, but you can't rule it out. Let's try to look at take a look at the RSI at the peak. No divergence, so there's really no reason to think that it will go any higher than where it is. But it should chop around in X in 3 waves, right? We should get a 3-wave decline. That first wave could be ending soon. Something like that is possible. And you get Y. A bigger move higher. It just continues. It just continues higher. Oh, I guess it looks like we have more data. I'm not sure what was up with TradingView. Did I just not have the chart right? Yeah, look at that. So we're not even going to look at that that part of that chart because it's just irrelevant. So we're just kind of off of this cycle. So again, just looking at it from this view here, this is kind of what I'm thinking will happen. So if I was trading it just based on this, and if this is the low, that's still just 3 waves up off this low. So even if I update the chart now that I see it a little better, it's still just an ABC for W here. It just changes it a little bit, something like this, something like that. So that's what you have to hope for. But these lows can break. But there's no reason to think it would go any higher. All right, Dylan, IRM, Iron Mountain. Yeah, Iron Mountain even got pumped on CNBC. Is in a buy area, and it does show the same count that I have with the rest of the stock market. One more high, right? And it looks like it has a 3, a 4, and a 5. It looks like it has more 4s and 5s to play out. So this should continue to grind higher. So again, this stock is a wave 5 indices propellant stock, right? This stock should propel the indices to that 5th wave I show. But yeah, there's pullbacks coming. But it should continue to extend higher in this choppiness to higher. So if you're an investor, this chart looks like okay. This looks okay until the market peaks. At some point, these 4s and 5s will end, and then this is over for Iron Mountain, right? You'll get this huge leg down, this leg, right? Which will be the crash wave in the indices whenever this happens, right? Look, I mean, it's obviously well extended, but does it have more upside? Sure, there's plenty more upside coming. So as an investor, you probably want to be here. Yeah, it's going to be choppy, but it should be choppy to higher. But if you look at the SPY and look at that count, if we go back to my long-term chart on the SPY, you look at that count, that looks a lot different, right? It looks a lot different, right? Where you may not even make much of a high. You'll be mostly sideways to even lower, or possibly even at the lows. So completely different chart. Both eventually end in 5, right? Both eventually end in 5. One is about to end any moment. The other looks like it's still going to grind higher. And if you're lucky, it extends in another 1-2 setup. But it should just keep going high. So this was a buy area, and I posted it on my channel, and it should be supported. Makes another high, peaks, pulls back. So we should see again. That's what Iron Mountain should be doing. But if it goes any lower than this, if it breaks 94.69, then we're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're looking at more of a meltdown. And of course, so that's why you can't just get too punch drunk bullish on these sectors. But it does seem like it's got more upside. But you do got to respect the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this could bring us back down to 70. Right? And then we're in a higher degree, wave 3. So but for right now, this is the setup. So that's the setup. They pumped it on CNBC. And the chart looks good actually, so why not? Let's go for it, right? Let's go for the trade to 130, 30% gains. That's a 30% gain potential or higher, depending on where we are with it. The chart looks primed. Yeah, I don't know if I call it primed. It definitely looks like it should go higher, unless you believe it's a 1-2 and it's another 1-2. But you see that RSI reset? I think it's another 1-2. I mean, I guess it's possible, but you see that reset? I don't think it's another 1-2. I don't think it's another 1-2. It'd just be too bullish to label that. But I think yeah, should it get 5th wave? Yeah, it definitely needs divergence. It needs some more divergence here. In this reset, I mean, you could make the argument that perhaps, maybe, again, just looking at it a second time, perhaps it is in this 3, 4, 5 pattern. You could make the argument that it's in this type of pattern, right? It's possible, looking at it, but yeah, I mean, we did pierce it. I would have liked the deeper pierce. So if we could go a little bit lower, you can go with that labeling. And then if you're a bull, then it could possibly be a 1-2. But you see that RSI already took out all those peaks. So if that it's the case, it's really unlikely. Then you got to go with the 3 and a 4, and then you get one more high. But either way, you get one more high, two more highs. Again, it's just like a cleaner looking setup to me to be in this type of stock right now. Even if it's this, but I think for now I'll just say it should make one more high at least, and then we'll have to let's see where the market is at that point, where the market trades at that point. Look at that RSI just completely collapsed. Let's see here, the weekly. Yeah, I'll go back to this being third wave for now. If it can find support right here, right now, then make another high, then it's this count. If it goes any lower, then you got to go to the other count. But it should still, like if it goes any lower, it may go down to 94. If it does that, then it's a higher degree. So I think it's got to rebound right here. It's got to rebound to stay at this degree, and it held that low. It's got to hold this low, I think. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out in the coming days. Buy the dip on the Qs. Yeah, it seems like always you want to buy the dip on the triple Qs, right? You've been saying crash for the last 3 to 6 months. Yeah, but guess what? I have been saying it because it could happen at any moment. But have I not traded any long positions? Hell no. You guys gotta erase from your mind the indices is not the only thing you trade in the market. I don't want to trade the indices. The yen is gonna strengthen at any moment, and it's gonna do it in a way where you're not ready for it. It's gonna be 0 to 100. There is a massive tail risk in this market, and it is gonna play out. These labelings can be mislabeled. There is a massive stochastic reset that's going to happen on the bearish divert. It's going to happen at any moment at the indice level, but it doesn't mean there's not great opportunities to trade individual stocks. And I posted on my channel all those. So if you're angry because it hasn't gone down, well, you have to be angry at yourself, because I'm not saying short it. I'm not saying I'm recommending buying small cap stocks. If you didn't buy those stocks that I posted, go look on my Twitter. You're the one to blame. You should probably not be trading anymore. Trading may not be for you. If you were shorting the indices hoping you get that tail risk event, which I know is coming at any moment, it will happen this year. It's going to happen. And it could have happened. So that's why they want to be in the indices. But there are other stocks out there that you could trade with defined risk that showed really good charts to throw your money in. And we did that on this channel. And a lot of people made a lot of money in the last 30 to 60 days. We got SoundHound at $6, guys. $6. If you didn't buy that, you're the one to blame. You have to blame yourself. You didn't buy that. It's your fault. If your fault. I was buying those things. I'm buying. Look how many things I'm posting. I'm buying. But yeah, are the indices going to crash? Sure. And guess what? I'll stop out. And I'll be ready. But am I trying to time the short? Hell no. UVIX is a setup here and there, but I always trade in and out of that. I don't hold that. If you're buying and holding UVIX, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing it right. So yeah, if the market's going to crash and it makes you angry it hasn't crashed, I'm just telling you, there's a tail risk event that's going to happen that's going to catch everyone with their pants down. I think it's 1987 style. Guys, the Japanese yen is going to do this. When this happens, the market's going to frickin' crash either in 24 or 48 hours, or it's going to be a massive drawn out meltdown. This is coming. But this could have happened here. There was no way to know. Okay, so they pumped the carry trade a little bit to keep the bubble going a little bit longer. They're going to run out of firepower soon, and if not already, any moment, the ticking time bomb. So if you're stupid enough to try to buy the dip here, that was your fault. That was your gamble. But there were things to buy. This wasn't the indices. Was not what you wanted to buy. There were other stocks that couldn't go any lower. Their charts wouldn't allow them to go any lower. which is that's what we're doing. So here it is, guys. So this is it. So this is your ticking time bomb in the market. This is coming. This is coming. And when this happens, many people will lose all their money. And yes, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Okay, so when it does, you're gonna feel bad. And if you're just trying to short this and time it, you're gonna lose all your money. So that's all I'm saying, guys. So if you're bearish and you're angry, it hasn't crashed, as I said, it's been a crash. Well, then you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. And then trade. You need to let other people manage your money for you. You're not. You should just get off my channel, and not do this anymore. You really shouldn't, because you're not doing it right. If you didn't make any money in the last 30 days on those small cap stocks, you're doing it all wrong, guys. You're doing it all wrong. If you lost money in the last 30 days with all those small caps pumping, you don't know what you're doing and how to trade. I'm being honest, and maybe that, and so if you want to be angry at me, be angry. But I posted on my channel what to buy. And I would say 75 to 80% of those stocks pumped 30, 40%, many in the hundreds of percent. Many went 300-400% higher. So good luck. So that's all I want to say on that. So again, if you're angry that the market isn't going down, be angry at yourself, but it will go down eventually. I've showed you the setup. It's coming. They just want to keep the bubble going as long as they can, but it's eventually will get a big pullback. And when the pullback happens, many people won't be ready for it. They're not going to be ready for it because it's going to happen fast and violent. This wave is going to be fast and violent. It's going to feel like a crash. It probably will be a crash, and people will wake up and they'll lose all their money. And when it does play out, could I be off by a swing? Probably, I could be. So we don't know when it's going to be. It could have happened here. We just don't know. So you're taking a lot of risk. You're at the casino. You won 5 hands in a row, 6, 7, 8, 10. No, keep going, keep going. I want to play more games. Keep it in. Eventually, it's coming. So we know that's probably coming in 25. And if it's another 1, 2, 1, 2, well, then it's going even lower than that, in potentially a tail risk event, where so it will be a crash, and then you'll be like sad. But I don't think it will do that until this plays out. And then when this happens, then we need all the sectors to be higher at this 5 for it to really crash. There's too many sectors that are too beat down. I can't believe this Cleveland Cliff's going to go out of business. If we believe that this is over in 5, you have to believe Cleveland Cliffs is out of business. I don't think it is. I think companies like that need to pump more. Need to pump in this 5th wave. Energy needs to reset its stochastics higher. Energy needs to pump. We sell off in energy. Energy needs to pump. Those things need to pump, and then and only then you get this 5th wave. But this will be a crash to most people, and they'll get it wrong. And we want to buy that. And I'm telling you now to buy that. But this crash is coming. This will be a crash for people. Most people here, if you're buying calls, you will lose all your money. And this will happen in probably 24 to 48 hours. And if it's a 1-2-1-2, which it could very well be, where you correct the whole cycle since October 22, if we correct this whole 22 cycle, we're going down to 460 in this area, 480, at least 480 or lower. And it's going to happen violent. It's going to happen fast. And I promise you will lose all your money. And then people will say, it's a great crash. But I'm like, oh no, that's not the crash, guys. That would be just another and then it keeps going higher, and then the real calamities coming in the future. So I'm just saying, this is what we're worried about. It could have happened here. It could have happened here. So again, if you want to keep pushing your luck at the casino and buying the dip, good luck. I'm just trying to manage risk. So we got out of the risky stuff. We got into other stuff that was oversold, and we bought it, and those pumped really nicely, and we got out of those. And now there's not a lot to buy in the market except for these obscure, stock sectors. But there'll be some coming soon when this plays out. There'll be another opportunity to go into, maybe even the semiconductors again, potentially as they make a connector wave, potentially in 5. But this is what's coming. But again, I'm really sorry. Really sorry. This is, you guys are hoping for a crash. Here, but if you want to short, 620 would be an area to try to short. this would be the area to try to do it if it can make it up this high. So maybe there is a short opportunity here at 620. If we can get up there and get this wave finished. So good luck on that. Anyway, good luck. Let's keep going with the super chats, guys. Got a lot of super chats coming in. Yeah, Happy New Year. Let's go to MSOS. Again, MSOS to me is just a no-brainer. Again, requiring patience. Again, it's another stock I've given you guys to buy. Oh my God, I said something to buy. Again, Uber Bears, you don't want to buy it. Fine, don't buy it. But again, do we think the cannabis sector is going to go out of business? Do you think cannabis is going to, because that's what would happen if the market just, so there's a sector that just, look, we're up 6%. Look, cannabis is maybe a sector to be in 2025. Look at that. Now, when cannabis is up here, okay, now the market could be at the peak, right? So once you believe all the cannabis stocks that make up this ETF are all going to go bankrupt, out of business, why would you not buy it here? So this is what I think the market makers are doing. It's a rug pull. It's a run the stops, three waves, and then we're going to pump it. We're going to pump it. And I believe we're reversing out of it. And again, we really have traded this sector pretty well. Called the short, called the buy. I'm calling another buy. So 2025, you may want to be in cannabis sector. This is a sector that may be a one that you want to have some of your chips in. No one's in it, obviously, right? No one's thinking about it, but I would think about it if I were you, because the alternative is if it doesn't pump and get some room to go down when the indices drop, then you're just saying all those stocks are going bankrupt, all those cannabis stocks. But I don't see it happening. So I think you just have to. This is long-term investment. Long-term investors buy it here, and you just got to hold. And then we'll in 12 months we'll see where we're trading. My guess is we'll be up here somewhere in 12 months. Of course, there'll be ups and downs. Okay, UVIX. So the UVIX chart, like I said, it's not UVIX is not buy and hold, guys. It's you trade in and out of that, and you scalp it. But there are setups that come, and I gave that one setup on my last live stream, and it did pop, on that setup here, right? It did pop. I'll show you, right? We had the 3-wave setup, so this was a buy here, and we got the pop. You should have sold it. Now, if you didn't sell it, you don't know how you're not trading properly. You're not trading properly, right? You don't wait. You don't try to guess the low. You wait. You got you got the reversal, and then you saw 3 waves. Okay, I'll take a piece of it here. I have my stop here. Oh my God, look what it did. Now you dump it. You made your money, and you're out. Now you wait for the same thing again. Now, I think the bigger picture, problem I have with the UVIX is the UVIX has 3 waves. The extended hours did tag this area, so I think it's over. The data in the extended hours did have it up here. And now it's got to come down in 5 waves. So I think it's going to go, I think it's going lower, guys. I think it's going lower. And it doesn't have to do that, but I think it's going lower. And I think, the sign that we always knew that it had to take a bigger dive lower was we broke this low here. We broke a lower low. So this is just a connector wave. We have 3 waves, W, X, Y. And again, I'm the only one that forecasted this, that got this right. There's no one you followed that got this Y leg. Go watch my videos. We had it here, and we got the Y. Now, if you didn't take profit on this, again, you don't know what you got to, why would you not take profit? I was telling you this, and I said, yeah, maybe get to 550. This is where we got. This is all we got out of it. Now, if you're holding, you're not doing it right. You got to hold it. So there it is. 3 waves. It's over. You have 3 waves. The connector's over. So you need a whole nother leg lower. You're going to have a whole nother leg lower. So we're due for another leg lower. Now, we don't have a sign that we're in the 3 yet. So we could still be in 2. There's still possible to be in that wave 2. You'd have to build off of 316. We'd have to see another move higher. But if you look, there's no setup. There's no 3 waves. Now, if we could get another push lower, maybe there's a setup, but I think you'll break that low. So I don't think there's a setup coming yet. You see how you break that low. So there's no setup. So the UVIX is no trade. Now I'm giving you this chart where I think it's going, but it's no trade to me. So what does this say? The market's in the market could be making a 3 to the upside. So what do I have as my count, right? What's my count on the market right now, right? The count on my market on the SPY is I have a 3 coming. Look, I have this coming. So this lines up with the UVIX forecast that I have, right? So this would be the UVIX meltdown. Okay, so I'm going to know. Now, if we break this low, then maybe that's wrong. The UVIX will push up another leg higher. So I think if you're trading the UVIX, you need to see 580, this 580 level broken. Then you could go, okay, we broke the 580 level. Let's look at the UVIX and see what it's up to. Then you could probably think that it's probably going to take another swing higher, at least another swing higher, and that would bring you up to 423, 456, something like that. So that's how I trade it. But right now there's no trade, there's nothing. It's got to finish that leg lower. And again, this is coming from someone who pretty much gets the UVIX right, you know, in this area. This leg, 1, 2, 3, that leg. And when that leg is done, then all you guys that dream about UVIX mooning, that probably be the time to have those dreams, because then it's in this area where if it's gonna go vertical, this would be the area that it will do it. I think. So this is how I see the UVIX. So the UVIX to me needs more downside to finish the leg lower, the other leg lower that matches this leg for your 3-leg move. And then you have to break out. And then if you break out, you should get a breakout. The yen should strengthen rapidly, and this should essentially crash the market in that wave 4 or wave 2, and all hell breaks loose in the stock market. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how I think it's going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. So if I say, oh, I just want to buy the UVIX now, well, sure, but then you better be prepared to have it go down to potentially even under $1. You're just going to have to pretend. You have to potentially prepare for that situation. So if you don't care, if it's money you want to just hedge, profits you want to just throw into the, you know, hedge it, fine, do that. But again, the way to trade the UVIX is these spikes that we've been getting, and we got this Y1 right, and now we're in this decline. I think we're in a decline phase. Could it make another high too? It could, but I would be watching the SPY for the breach of 580 before I would think too could do this here. But until then, I think this is what I'm looking at right now. Something like this. Something like that. Okay, Mara is, Mara hit the target I wanted it to hit, but I'm not going to buy Mara until Bitcoin is lines up with my forecast. Could it trade outside of that? Sure, we could trade the chart like I've always preached, and sometimes, I just look at the bigger picture, and the reason I don't want to do that is I go look at Mara at the bigger picture. So right now I have a bullish count on Mara as this 1, 2, 1, 2. But what if it's not that? What if it's not that? What if we're still in this wave 2, and then this is a big connector, an A, B, C. This is a big connector, and then this is a drop in Y, and we just have a meltdown to $10 as Bitcoin drops to 84,000. So that's why I don't want to buy it here. I think again, I don't want to just say that's a 2. If it's a 2, it should be done. But Bitcoin's not lining up with that now, unless Bitcoin on the weekend, on this holiday, does a flash crash down to 84 real quick and comes back up to 93 and does something stupid like that. Well, then I want to go in tomorrow, like right away here. Then I go back to this 2 here. But I think it's either this 1-2 will go deeper, time to buy with Bitcoin, or it's going to do this dip down in this higher degree wave 2. But ultimately, we should come out of this, I think, and it did hit the area. I was definitely not buying it in this area, but here it is tempting to buy it here. But I think it's I don't want to do it with MicroStrategy and needing more downside in Bitcoin. I think needing a leg lower, and then Coinbase also breaking its pivot here. This connector wave, shallow, showing more downside is coming. So again, I think it's just too many warning signs in crypto. Could the miners trade outside of that? Sure, but I doubt it's likely. So I think if anything, it could go lower. Maybe it can go to 14. Maybe you get the big drop down to $9 and you get a massive opportunity. The other thing is this also shows Bitcoin. If the miners haven't really pumped yet, if this happens, maybe the Bitcoin hasn't hit its 3 of 3 moment, because you would think the miners would be up here, right? If Bitcoin is topped in a top of a 5, why aren't the miners up here? Maybe the miners is telling you Bitcoin is in a wave 2, 1-2 setup, and then everything's going to go 3 of 3 in crypto, and nobody's prepared for it. As the miners pump, Bitcoin pumps 3 of 3, and then everything does that, right? So that's why so unless if you believe the miners are going to go out of business, right? If the miners go out, you think Mara is going to go, all these miners are going to go out of business. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think the market, this is also telling you crypto could pump, because these things. Now, if we were trading up here with Bitcoin, then maybe, oh yeah, maybe it's over. Maybe it is, the cycle's over. But now this isn't really the pump we usually get. So we bottom then pop. Okay, Connor, UVIX bottom and pop. Yeah, I think UVIX needs to bottom out. Because we made the lower low I showed, I think UVIX should make another leg lower that's more convincing than what it's done so far to really get people to give up on it that are trying to hold it and time it. That's just my guess. But you gotta be careful in the UVIX. Just be careful with it and know what you're doing with it. All right, Wolf. That's one. That's one of those beaten up ones. Again, if Wolf can't pump, do we think it's going back? Do we think it's going out of business? Right? Is Wolf going out of business? Because there's almost no more room for it to go down. Right? I mean, if we're talking, yeah, this stock, yeah, Wolf, right? I mean, is Wolf going out of business? If the indices crash right here, right now, this is going bankrupt. Wolf is going bankrupt. Now, it looks like to me 5 waves is over, right? This is a beat up stock that's done and it's trying to come off the low. So my guess is it needs to come up here so it could drop. Or it's going out of business. Or it's about to go out of business, guys. It's about to go bankrupt, which I don't think it's going to happen. So I think you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're into 2. So this is one of those beating up down stocks that should hold these levels. Should hold these levels. All right, good luck on that. It's a beating up stock. They should pull out of this. At least be up here, right? Not a good number to close on for the new year. Oh shit, maybe it is going out of business. You guys believe in 666? I mean, shit. Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, guys, if it keeps going lower, then the market, then there's something really fundamentally wrong with the business financially, and I mean, it's trading at levels it traded back in 1995. I mean, something is really effing wrong in their financial, like something's really broke down here, guys. I mean, damn, what happened? What happened to these guys? So whoever, I don't know. So I'd be thinking it can't go any lower, right? Or it's going bankrupt. So I don't know. Stocks can go bankrupt, so it can't happen. So I'm not saying don't be stupid about it. I mean, we could wake up and they're bankrupt, but I mean, it just seems like a stock that's been along so long, a company so well established, shouldn't go to zero. But maybe this one is. But I think it's do or die time. Wolf, it's do or die time. It's do or die for Wolf. Good luck on that. VUZI. VUZI is trying to do a rug pull like they did in QBTS to us before it moons. So again, it's trying to nothing's easy. I look at it as completing the whole cycle from the beginning here. There's a couple ways I could label it here. I could label this as a 1-2, 1-2. So I could label this as a 1-2, 1-2 here. And maybe that's what I need to do for right now. A 1-2, 1-2. But you see, look at that. I mean, obviously that was extended. I mean, that was just I mean, people are panic buying it up here, right? Panic buying. Now that cycle's over. But when I look at the bigger picture 4-hour chart, again, massive RSI bleed, massive hidden bullish divergence on the RSI on this pullback. Look at this peak here. So in this leg, your peak RSI was only here. So it should be up here. It isn't. It isn't. So is this a dramatic extended fifth? So if this is the whole cycle, then you're believing that this is like a 3-4. This is a massive extended fifth wave, like a massive extended fifth wave. If that's the case, then holy shit, you don't want to be in it, right? Because it could drop all the way back down to 186, right? But I don't think I don't think it's an extended fit. I don't think it's that. One, because of the way how hard this pullback was here. So what I think we're seeing is a 1-2. It's like a 1-2, 1-2. I think that's what we're seeing. Now the other possibility is it is a flat, an A, B, C, and then this 2 comes back down here. And you see that makes more sense to me if that's the case. And if that's right, then the RSI should come back on the monthly and take this peak out eventually. So if you look here at the weekly cycle, as you could see on the personality of this chart, the weekly cycle pumped right around, if I can do this right here, the first pump really was right around here, right around this price action, and then we have more follow through. So I think there's a good chance of more follow through. Then after that, we don't know how the market's gonna what the market's gonna want to do with it. It could be a casualty of just the market environment we're going to be in. But I think it's like a 1-2. I'm just going to put it here for now, and then you'll have to just decide what you want to do, how you want to trade it. But I believe it's just long-term investment opportunity. Clearly, the cycle's over, and I think it's just going to be in a new bull market, and that's what I think. This looks like 5 waves down from here. Almost looks like 3 waves up. So I think the flat is looking more and more likely as a possibility in a flat correction. Maybe an expanded flat even. You know, like a run-in flat type correction. So something like that is possible. There's another count looking at this here. Just looking at a couple things, the shorter time frame. Again, look at the peak. Again, this either be a historic, real big like wave 5, which I don't think it is, or it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, and then, but then you see how that within that leg there's too much divergence. So then it just keeps going, but you can't really label this wave 3, right? Because the peaks aren't exceeded. So that's where you can get the really bullish situation. We get that. You get this. And then you force the 5 waves, which you probably could, and you get that. So that's the super bullish path, and the RSI supports that path as well. But I want to be realistic and not too much of a perma bull. And you see how that RSI reset the whole thing. So I don't think that's the count, the right count. So that's why I think it's more or less this. I wouldn't put 3 here with the peak down here. So I make that another 1, 2. Because the shorter cycles need, if this 3 was up here, it would be different. So my guess is it's another 2, something like this, a 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we should see around $10 or higher when the real cycle's over, the first real cycle is over, which should get us to this area of resistance. Then you could see a really big decline, or perhaps a connector wave that's finished. But this is where I count. So this is a count. So I think you just got to be patient in. So I think it's a 1, 2, but it does look like it's down in 5. So that's why I'm like, is it a flat? Is it not? So I don't, perhaps we'll get more capitulation and a race divergence, next week and get it a little bit lower, right? And then this would be an area to reaccumulate or buy right around these wave floors right here at around the low $3 if it came back down here. And this would be just like a shallow connector right here and will drop and erase divergence. The other possibility is it could also do this, have A, B, and C, and do something like that. So I think you got to play the long game on this a little bit and manage your risk. But it could be 2 possible paths. I see something like this, or 2 just capitulates our early Thursday, Friday. We capitulate. If we moon from here, if it moons from here, then it was a flat, or it was the super bullish count I just gave you, which I don't think is likely because it violates my RSI method that I use. This is what I see. I think the count is right now. But good luck. Good luck on that. Happy New Year. All right. The tennis instructor and Mercedes. Automakers, could be risky. I'm trying to remember what my count on Ford was on the short term, but I don't remember. So we'll just look at Mercedes real quick. Looks pretty good. Nice looking chart there. Now you see all that bearish divergence on the historic chart. So is all that a wave 5? And Mercedes is just gonna go out of business? I mean, that's what the historic chart almost implies, right? Right? This was your 3. This is a massive wave 5, right? And you're just gonna go all the way back down to 4. Like Mercedes going out of business. Now, do we really think that's gonna happen? Probably not, right? So I'd be stupid to label it that way, right? But that's some end of the world shit right there, right? Now, maybe it could happen. I don't know. But I think the best way to label it is 1, 2s, and then just go from there. So it looks like to me you've got like a 1, 2 right here. Some kind of 1, 2 there. And then some kind of 1-2 right here. Or let's label this proper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see how that only let's go to a weekly and see what that wave looks like. There's barely so there's a see that, so there's almost no divergence at this peak. Let's look 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, maybe I could force the label in. Let's go to the daily. I don't like that leg. I mean, that leg implies it is a fifth wave, which I'm not going to label it that way. That's just like crazy for me to be telling you it's going out of business. Okay, so at least we see some divergence here. That's good. That's good to see that. Because I think it would be crazy call for me to be like, oh yeah, Mercedes is in a massive extended fifth wave and is going to go bankrupt. Like, I think that's the dumbest. I don't think I want to say that. I mean, is the automakers that is the automakers that overextended? Did they bet the farm on EVs to the point where that situation can happen? I don't know. I don't think so. I just don't think so. Yeah, so I'm just trying to label what I see here. Okay, so you see how it's a real tight, these tight wave fours. So that's common in a 3 of 3, right? It's common in this 3 of 3 wave. So it works for me, and it has the bearish divergence. So now that we proved to ourselves it's an impulse, now we could have more confidence calling this a 1 and a 2 as well, which we already knew was probably the case, because it just, if that was 3 waves up, then you're like, okay, it's just a massive end in diagonal, a fifth wave. So here you go. So there's a 1, 2, and now things are getting a little dicey here. My guess is this is another 1, 2 right here of some kind. The question is this a flat in the making, or what is this mess here? Let's look at the flat structure. So it is in the target area that flats could, and so it hasn't extended enough to negate the flat. So I think looking at the RSI, how it's bleeding down like it is. Let's look at the weekly chart. So you have the peak here, you have a 5. So my guess is some kind of flat correction that needs to finish out. That we peaked here, and we'll come back down to these lower areas to finish. So I do believe we're in some kind of flat correction. And it's as long as we're below $71, it should be under pressure. Under pressure. It looks like you have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, right? Or we call it let's go back and relabel it better here. It's like a 1, 2, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, so maybe 3, 4, 5. So you're in a relief rally for this first leg lower. Perhaps it can make another high, and then it should come back down for a capitulation wave. In the flat should play out. So I think you could see another swing higher in 2 as it comes back up to this wave 4 area, and then it's a very dangerous situation potentially for that 3 down, which kind of lines up with our market forecast. And then we capitulate down. And then you have this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. Because the only other alternative is it's a 5, and then it's bankruptcy for Mercedes. Because they will go all the way back down to the single digits. It'll be like we lost all our money. But that's not the setup I'm seeing. So I think this is the setup we're looking for. Something like that. All right, MSTR is easy. We have been careful not to FOMO in on that, and we're just waiting for 244 to get tagged. 244 would be a good area. Hopefully, Bitcoin's at 84,000 or lower when that happens, and then you could try to stick your neck out and buy it. But as you know, nothing's guaranteed. So what would this higher count become? The fifth wave would extend, or this is a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 setup. Let's look at the RSIs and see where we are trading. Well, there's your wave 3. So there's your wave 5. So it does, the RSIs line up. Let's look at the monthly. We did take this peak out here. So yeah, I would say you got to be careful in MicroStrategy, only because you're counting on a fifth wave extension, which is always risky, which is okay, to propel it higher, or a connector wave. So it's hard for me to believe that it's going to take this RSI peak out and it's another 1-2. This is a 1-2 right here. I mean, it's possible, right? It's possible, but it's not likely to do that. But if it were to do that, then yeah, then it would extend. So I think the area it should bounce. I say this: the area it should bounce is in this area. We have the divergence, so we know that this should be we should be getting a bigger bounce soon in this 4. We should erase divergence on the 4-hour. We have, okay, so the 4-hour is still looking good. So I think it's just like just being patient and waiting. I rather the entry here on this area here. And if I'm wrong about crypto being in wave 2, then MicroStrategy will have completed its fifth wave of 5, and it should revisit 100, but probably lower than that. Probably looking at prices around $80 or even lower. So it's a really risky buy, because if we're wrong about Bitcoin and Bitcoin is in a fifth wave top, then MicroStrategy we'll just have a massive meltdown. But again, we probably would have already seen it. We saw the deleveraging event. Now we'll get a little bit of the capitulation. Like it would have to really come back up. So I think it will have a pretty big bounce here, if anything. I don't know if there's enough to drive it down to these levels, unless Bitcoin just has a historic meltdown and he's forced to liquidate everything. All right, so let's draw the trend line. See, we'll have to wait and see where it goes. All right, DRSHF. Let's just keep going. DRSHF. Drone shield. Okay, that's a new one. Drones. I heard that's a new sector that's looking good, looking hot. Looks like it had a really big pump here coming out. As you can see, do we have any divergence at that peak? A little bit. It's probably an impulse because it's so extended. Now here you don't have any divergence. So what we'll do is we'll just trade it off this low, as it's bullish in 3 to be safe. So we need 3 down. So 3 down should get us to an area kind of where it is right now. And then the RSI The daily cycle has bounced here already. So it's already reset the daily cycle. So this cycle is over, this 3-week cycle. So if we do make another low, then it's 5 down. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, which means we should still bounce. So it's either a W, an X, and we get a Y, or it's even more crazy. You get it's WXY has happened and it goes to new highs, or it's 5 waves down. You make one more low, and then it pumps again to only fail again. So I think, honestly, it seems like it wants to reverse out of some kind of bigger bounce here. And then I think it's just kind of like we don't have enough to go on to know bigger picture other than it didn't make a new high, but it's already significantly extended. There's no guarantee that it can make another high. So I think it's just, but it does seem like it wants to pump a little bit more. So maybe against 35 cents, it's bullish off that low. I would say the stop is at 35 in this area, and you're hoping for it. But this is only 3 off the low. That's why it could still make another low, a 5th wave down. So you really need to take out this high at 51 cents. You really need to take that out. If you can't do that, then you're at risk for the 5th wave. All right, hope that helps. CRKN, let's go to CRKN. Crown Electric. Going into a wave 3. Did I get that right? CRKN. Maybe, I don't see a wave maybe to the downside. It's a wave 3, but as you can see, it's just one of those go to zero stocks that people love to trade. So we really just have to look at where we're trading off of the last major swing. So right here, we've been trading down. Looks like in 5, 1, 2 there. Looks like a 3, 4. I mean, again, if I'm just looking at this, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. So more than likely, you should get another low, and then a pump, right? As this 5-wave cycle's over, as long as you keep your bullish divergence at the lows, which you should. Let's take a look. There's your 3 of 3. So you want to have that bullish divergence on the 4-hour. So I think you got one more. You got a 5, but I mean I don't see any wave 3. I see probably another low, and then a pump of some kind, of some magnitude, to reset this whole cycle, and then it could continue even lower. I mean, perhaps. That's the only play. That's the only thing I see here. And if it erases divergence, it'll just cry. It'll just continue lower. But I think that's the situation this is in. And then it, depending on the degree of correction, it should continue just continue lower. Yeah, it's well below. I mean, look at that pump. Damn. I wonder if it's got something like that in store for it. No way to know. We'd have to go down in 3. That would be the connector. So we would need another 3 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not yet. I don't think it's the super moon pump yet. I think you have this, something like this, and then you may have a chance for that the super duper, you know, moon pump. But would I want to short it? Hell no. It's because it is due for something substantial like that. It's just I don't think it's time yet. I just don't think it's time, but it's getting there for a potential, and it's always potential, but there's never a guarantee. But I think the lottery ticket play is coming. If you this pattern can play out a little more like that, the super duper pump. Okay, so again, I don't want any crypto until Bitcoin shows more downside. Coinbase also, there's a lot of stocks that need to that broke down, but there's a few that haven't, right? So there are a few that haven't, but let's take a look at GSOL. The chart is holding up, but it's at the it's coming close to the end of the line. It's got to make a decision. Right, it's at a major inflection point, because what happens if this line breaks? Well, you'll have a big meltdown. So you're taking a big chance buying it here. It should, like I said, it should bounce here. This may have been the bounce, but if this doesn't hold, bigger picture, then this is just a connector wave for this three-way move. So then it would have a pretty epic meltdown. So you're taking a lot of risk being in it. I don't know what the premium is here at 22. It's probably high, but let's just see. Like it'd have to drop below that way. I mean, it would have to have a massive panic, and we would want to see another leg lower. So it's kind of do or die time. It's do or die time. And if it can't hold that low, then you're looking at a connector wave. It'll go lower. You're looking at 3. You're looking at a very shallow connector wave. Here with the Y leg, and perhaps if you can get the RSI reset, it hit maybe 837, $3. Pretty big meltdown, right? Pretty big meltdown. So it's do or die. It's do or die, right? So what does the coin tell us? What's the coin? You would think the coin would melt down too, well, just like I showed there, right? The coin should melt down. If the coin, will the coin melt down? Well, the coin stay and support it. So as long as the coin's above 175. Now, what if the coin drops below 175? So this was our buy area. So this buy area is gone now because we bounced too much. So now we're looking at a bigger decline with a very shallow connector wave back down to 114. And then that puts us in jeopardy of breaking these lows, right? Which would be a false breakout, which would create a lot of panic for the chasers, the breakout traders. They're trapped. And then you have to be looking at this was a flat connector, and then we're heading back down to this area here, $60. And we're actually still in this wave too, where this was just an A, B, C. And then we find support right around, yes, maybe 78 in a flash crash scenario, and then the GSOL flash crashes. You can't rule that out. It's not likely, but you know, anything is possible. So you better keep an open mind if you're not doing that. But the first sign that would happen would be a break of this low right here. So good luck on that. You really need to see this low hold right here. When that breaks, yeah, you want to be careful, because essentially the chart would show a false breakout, and then there's typically a lot of panic when that happens and selling, because let's face it, a lot of day traders, they trade breakouts and they get trapped, and then they have to panic sell, and they unload and drop it. That's what happens. We also know we never really got the flush out also on this leg here. We want it. That's why we had we never got that. So it may have been a premature buy, like it got too, and then they're gonna rug pull it. So you want to be careful. I think it's like I said, just do or die time. Either money's gonna come in, and this thing is gonna really pump hard, or it's gonna collapse, and then you'll have a massive wave 3 opportunity. So you'll have to decide what you want to do. I mean, if I was personally trading on it right now, I would just, because of where Bitcoin is, I would be just on the sidelines. I wouldn't have the confidence in the market, because if the king falls, so does the kingdom, as they say. All right, HUT is, I think we have more downside coming in HUT, and we're getting close, like Mara, to that eventual area, but again, we're looking for an impulse down, and that impulse is still playing out, right? It looks like we're still in that fifth wave. So that could be another 1-2 right here. Something like that. Could be at a 3, but too much divergence, so it's probably not the wave 3 in the shorter in that leg. So it's probably another 1-2. So more downside, which is expected, right? That's why I don't like crypto right now. But we anticipated all this, right? All this was anticipated and forecasted, so hopefully no one's caught up in it. But I think you have to time any purchase with where Bitcoin is trading. I really do, only because you can't think your precious stock or coin will go up while Bitcoin goes down. I think that's foolish to think that thought. Okay, Watt. Energis Corporation, never heard of them. Get another little penny stock. Go to zero stock, I call them. And we got a big pullback. It's going to be tough to see. Is it usually that looks like 5 up. Look at that divergence at the top. So yeah, so we should get another leg higher out of this thing before it's all said and done. Looks like that's your connector wave. So it will end at any moment. There's no way to know. It could fill the gap even. We don't know, but it should make another leg higher. It looks like you're around 3. I think it's got more downside. Personally, it doesn't look complete to me. But this is where you'll just have to stick your neck out if you're trading these things. That's what you're doing anyway. There's your connector for that leg. You don't really have that connector yet on this leg, so you almost need like a bounce and a failure. You need a bounce and a failure, unless this was it. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it could be done, and we could say that it's. Let's see, we pierced through that. So no, so I would just be. I don't know. I look at the gap and everything else. I don't personally. I mean, if I wanted to trade it, I would want to buy it down at the gap fill. If it does it, if it doesn't do it, I would just ignore it. If I was already in it, hopefully you took some profit. If you didn't do that, well, you may round trip it. But I do think you'll get another push higher. You can't rule out even breaking these lows, and it does some kind of crazy move like that, but it's not likely. But I think it's like something like that. Good luck on what? All right, ANF, still waiting for it to break down. Where, again, not wanting to FOMO in on it, right? Not going to FOMO in on it. A lot of people want it. I want it below 100. Again, the chart, we're just trusting the chart, and the chart is playing out, even though it's a very bearish crash setup. It's got a crash setup. It does. A 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. It has a crash, but it is at the moment. It's at a very pivotal moment. It's out of time. It's got to make a move. One side will be blown up in a trade. So you got to understand the trade here is very binary. It's going to be you're going to be blown up on the downside, and you're going to open up down 20, 30% down here, or the triangle is going to fail, and it will open up in here. So it's coming to the apex of a decision. I still lean bearish, but you can do what you want to do. I think it's just big gamble. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, right? You only have 3, so the trend looks like it is lower. I think that's how I look at that, but the bears may have overplayed their hand on this. This is a bearish crash setup. This is a crash setup, guys, for a crash. That's what I was saying. That this is a crash setup. Does it have earning? I don't know if it has any news coming out, but maybe Christmas wasn't so great for this retailer. Perhaps. But like I said, it's very big move is coming here. It's just what I think. So, but what I like as a trader is I'm on the sidelines, and hey, if it wants to do this dip below 100, I want to buy it here. This is a nice area to buy it. This is just a gambler's area. This is the gambler area. Gambles. You gamble, right? It's a gambler's area. To buy it here, you know, because you really are. It's just like going to the casino. You're gonna get a big move, and you could still be an X, big move, and drop it, which almost seems like that's what the market makers should do: blow up the bears, then blow up the bulls, right? So be careful if you're trading this here, because you could see that the X wave makes a swing higher and then it drops to this area later. But right now, I'll just label it the way the chart is, how it speaks to me, and this is what I see in its future. But hopefully I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Okay, I'll try to do some of these crypto targets. Again, if you're in crypto short term, you need to be really careful, guys. If you're short term, you really, unless you already have positions from a long time ago and you can hold through I think there's a pull coming down. It's a pull. That's what it seems like is going to happen. Again, now you may have a coin. Your coin may move higher, but don't count on it. If Bitcoin should go to 84,000 now. As you can see here, the bullish setup was lost. Right now, did we make a new high here to finish that fifth wave? We did. So let's take a look at where we are. So we're definitely still in a wave 1-2. We're not in the 3 yet, the meat of the move. So yeah, it looks like to me it's got it finished that fifth wave and it's pushing lower now to probably this area. And then it should continue higher. So looking for 12.25 cents. And then out of this 1-2 pattern. So that's kind of the look we're looking for. Now, your question is, what are the high fib targets? Well, the target here is, since it's a 1-2, I mean, obviously, you really need to just use chart trendline support as your next target area, not really fib level, given the setup. So really, this cluster of resistance and support here was probably where you want to target first. So that's probably the target. That it will see a lot of resistance. Even if you pierce through it, you're likely to fail and go back lower. So this is the area. I would expect a lot of a lot of resistance, and where this whole cycle could end, and then pull back and reconsolidate for the future to finally break out and break this high. But this is what I mean. If I was trading it and this 1-2 and I bought it here, I would be out of the market at 46 cents. I wouldn't want to hold in hopes of $1, even though I could easily miss the dollar. I would just take this easy money here and then leave the market, while it likely will find sellers here. The people who got trapped here and here will dump it here. Okay, Dero USDT, not familiar with that one. Let's see here. That is in a buy area. Let's take a look. Again, I don't like personally buying anything until Bitcoin capitulates. So you see how we have that divergence. We need more downside. So it should go lower. So I think this is irrelevant. I think it's going to go deeper, but it is close to a big move higher when it is finished. So I think this is just one you time the buy when Bitcoin is at its low, and you see this divergence erased. Then I think it's ready for some type of pump. And so this one is a little different chart because it looks like you've got 3, 3, and 3. So This chart over several years could end up breaking this high at some point, going to over the next 3 to 4 years, going to this $36, $38 area. But in the shorter cycle, in the next 12 months, you're more than likely again back to this area, this retrace of this wave as the first W comes out of the leg. Something like there, you get rejected, and then it comes out later. So I think that's what you probably are looking at, something like this. So I'd be looking for maybe this area, this general area, and then another bear market, and then the real alt season that people are dreaming of. And I think our Bitcoin dominance chart predicts that something like this will happen. That alt season that everyone's dreaming about isn't in this cycle, it's in the next cycle for some reason. The next cycle. I don't know why it would be, but that's what the dominance chart is forecasting. Yeah, there'll be altcoins should rise here, but the real big moon and altcoins isn't until the next 4-year cycle time frame, is what that says. And that could be where the dollar index it collapses, right? And maybe this is the response to the crisis, right? They just say, okay, F it, we're going to money print and go crazy with inflation. We just don't care. And that's when maybe that's where this hits. And this could be the crisis in the markets, right? And then they just say, screw it, let's just print our way out of it. And the dollar collapses. And we just inflate our way out of whatever calamity we find ourselves in. Maybe that's what this is saying. But anyway, but I think it's more downside. XMR. All right. So why did I think it's a big flat correction, but more upside in 2, which is what we've been getting. Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, this is the chart I have because we made the lower low. So I think XMR, I don't particularly like it right now. Maybe privacy coins will have its day in the sun eventually, but I don't know. But it does show like more upside, which is what I've had here. It looks like it's finishing out that move a little bit. Maybe a better way to label this, just to kind of line it up with our Bitcoin forecast. Could it be done? Oh wow, it could. So we gotta be careful in this one because it could have done this in 3 waves, but I don't think it's likely given that B wave broke. So it needs to be an impulse. So yeah, we'll have to label it this way then, as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that is what I'm thinking. All right, good luck on that. What's interesting, we broke this high, but I'm thinking it's a flat because we broke this low. If we would have held this low, it would have been a different situation. Again, this finishes out, then the next cycle is alt season, Monero goes crazy, everything goes crazy. But I think you got more upside a little bit, but I think you are in this 2 wave right now. Long-term bottom target areas. You probably want to target this cluster right here, somewhere in this area when it plays out. Solana, can it hit 160 before going higher? I gave a good Solana update. Well, I said that if it breaks 160, it's probably going lower than that. So can it hit? It is very possible they're going to rug pull this and do the flat or a three-wave move, but I think it's like a 50-50 gamble. You don't know if it's going to drop to 160, and it's at the end of the line. Like, it's got to make a move that's out of time, right? Like, we haven't made a higher high, you haven't made a lower low. Look, it's just meandering around. Now I guess you did break this high right here. So maybe the bulls are trying to rip control of this, right? And maybe it could negate it, but you really need to take out this $200 level, and it's just it's frozen. It's a stalemate. Someone's got to blink. It's stuck. But I think it'll be a big move on Solana. But again, if Bitcoin goes to 84,000, chances are this will take a drop down. It's unlikely this would go higher with Bitcoin going lower and all those other stocks kind of breaking down. The high targets, well, I mean, if this pattern eventually plays out, whether it goes down as a 1-2-1-2 or it goes in as a big 1, big 2, you want to see the targets reached. I mean, if you look at this cut, I mean, it should be like $500. It's hard, again, crypto, it's hard to find the upside target. You have to look at market cap and compare it to similar coins in the market cap. That's how I timed myself out of all the altcoin pumps. When I trade altcoins, I look at the market cap and then compare it to other market caps of similar coins. So like Ethereum. So look at Ethereum's market cap and what it's trading at. This market cap of this coin, I don't think it gives it here, but you allow it to pump to the market cap of this coin that it's the next category. So Solana's pump potential should reach the market cap of where Ethereum is at in that cycle if it breaks out. That's what I would be. And then once it hits around those market caps, I would get rid of it at that point. I would use the market cap as kind of my guide to help me understand where it will end up. So Solana would become a new Ethereum. So the Ethereum market cap would be the target at whatever price that is, because if not, you'll sell it too early. It's the only way I've known how to get out of altcoins at the right time. I've also gotten out of altcoins going back to the historic pump line, which it seems unthinkable, but I've drawn lines like onto 2 peaks here, and I just draw a line out. You just draw this line out, okay, if I can. This is another way, because again, altcoins pump, and then you can say there's your target, 1,361. So once you hit that line, you get out, wherever this line. So this is a massive, so this is probably your max pump potential line. I call it your extreme mania, you know, if like you better get out. So, and you go, oh, they'll never hit that, but we see crypto time and time again hitting these kind of lines. So this is another gauge to gauge how the pump can go, how big it can go. So we don't know. So anyway, so you have to use market cap, use lines like that, because if not, you can get out on the wrong side. You can get out at the wrong time, but it does look like I'd be careful in that right now. All right, Joel, let's see, KURL. I think that is breaking down like we expected. I guess, again, it wants to trade now with the crypto market. And let's take a look at where we are. Looks like you had the buy here and you got the bounce. So this was the buy area I gave earlier. So it needs to hold, but you see this big RSI reset here and here. What I worry about and what we have to do is we can't go with this super bullish label anymore. We'll have to go with something a little different, because the RSI is saying to do that. Something like that. And we have the wave 3 cluster, so this is probably a 3. And this is now a 4. For now. Now, can it always extend and erase divergence? It's possible. Now, see, this peak is early, so there is a possibility it's another 1-2. So I don't want to. So there's a chance that it's another 1-2 here. So it's just tough to say. If it's a 1-2, we have to be careful it doesn't come down to $2 where you get a bounce here. and the bounce fails. So you got to be careful for that setup too. But this is the area it should bounce, and I think you started to see that play out here. And now we'll just see what happens with the market. If you wanted to buy it, this would have been the first area to add to your position. And then you either will get this 3 or you'll get a bounce and one more low back down to $2, and you could buy more there and then see if you can come out of that. But again, I think it's now tied to Bitcoin, right? They had a Bitcoin on their balance sheet, so now it's at the mercy of Bitcoin, right? And what Bitcoin does. But good luck on that. But we'll just leave it this way. All right. Let's see. I think I got through all the super chat. Oh no, I skipped over quite a few. My bad. Let me go back. I must have skipped over some. I apologize if I did that. QUBT. QBT, it looks so again, it looks like we've already finished that cycle. We only have 3 up, so you are in danger of a bigger correction down. So if this is going to continue, the pump and see, it needs to do that. It has to really hold that low. You see all that. Let's take a look at what we have going on here. Let's get rid of that. I don't know why I labeled it that way. So I think it has one more pump left in it. One more pump. I think it's got one more pump left in it. So if we break down, we have to change it to an impulse and not a WXY. But I want to call it a WXY for now. If that's the case, it's in a connector. But see how it already broke down? I think it's likely to take the dip, and we need to label it as an impulse off the low. And this is just a 4 or 5, just really tight 4 or 5. It has. We'll have to label it like the impulse off the low. It's at a very important moment because I can't put the 3 there. So it's a really tough chart. It's tough because I see more upside coming. I'll just say this: more upside should happen, but how we get there, this could be a flat playing out with this peak, and that too could hold. But I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I look at this, and I personally wouldn't want to trade it. I would just label it this way for now, as long as these lows hold. So it's got to bounce here. So it's a very important moment. It's got to bounce. It's got to stay above 1359, or it's going to drop in another swing lower, come back to these lower areas, the $6 area, and then this was just some kind of three-wave move in 1, 2, and then we'll get 3, 4, 5. I'll go even higher later. So I think as long as it's above 1361, there's a chance it could continue to extend. I do think it's going to trade higher at some point in its future. It may not happen immediately. You could still get a deeper pullback, and this is an ABC and a wave 1 off this low, and then you get a wave 2 where the buy would be at 791, and then you'll get a real a pump that will take people's breaths away. That this one even bigger than this one. So that's another possibility. So it could be an ABC with a 1-2 move, which, you know, we probably just being conservative, we probably should just label the chart and expect that. And then if it doesn't do that, then then you just are pleasantly surprised. But I think this could be, because again, that's a nice three-way bounce, that you have something like this playing out right now. And this is your reaccumulation area for this eventual wave 3, which should take it even higher than this, and even more in a more mania. So I think I'd go with this look. So just if you don't have a position, you can just wait. AMPX. So it looks like you've got 5 waves off the low, although that's 3 and 3. So probably one more high. So it's moving 3 in corrective manner. So I think you have one more swing higher at least to the maybe $4 area. So you see how you have 3. You're forming that connector wave. So you have something like, and then you have something like that. Something like that's going to happen. So, but it just started B. So B has got time to play out. So I think it's something like this. All right, good luck on that. HSI, I think China's like whispering stimulus. Like I think there was a post that they're going to focus on macroeconomic policy in 2025. I guess that means they're going to pump the markets. But I'm sure they're going to dangle that over Trump to try to get concessions from him. But I still looking at this breakdown that's imminent, just like I have here. So China doesn't look that good, honestly, until we finish this leg. Then when we come here, we could either get big 3 waves, and get another big 3 waves with maybe they pump back up to this area with that stimulus talk, or they capitulate down, we get down here. So I think the way to trade China is just like the shorter time period. The longer time period, it's hard to get a big picture of where we'll head. But I think this is ultimately the target area for either a big bounce to new highs, or it's just a massive capitulation move, and then they unleash the bazooka that everyone dreams about. So I think for right now, though, it looks like it's trying to turn lower here. It's struggling. And the target area, the next target area to buy the sector, if we turn lower, would be at 18,733 to play China on the bounce, which should be a much bigger bounce than this was. More sustainable. Again, that could be wave 5 in the market, and this could be the crash of the market, and could even go lower. So I think this is some selling pressure coming. Now, what would negate that would be to take this high out, but it just hasn't done that yet. So we have to take this high out. We haven't done it. So this is the bearish count is valid still. Now, if they could take this high out, then it will extend a whole nother leg higher. And you would think the markets should rise with that, because that would be dollar weakness across the markets. That should pump the markets. And again, that could swing us back up to this area. So it's very important to watch what China's doing right now, short term, if you're trading, because this could be a clue into where the world markets may trade. But right now, it's kind of struggling. It's struggling in this area, so it's got to find a way to reclaim this peak, and it just can't do it. It just hasn't done it yet, but maybe it can. If it can, then China will go higher, and we can't see the markets crash with China weakness, dollar weakness. China strength, dollar weakness. Can't see it happening, but this is what I'm looking for, something like that. Okay, so again, short-term targets, big picture, depends on the Bitcoin cycle we're in, and we don't have a good view on that yet. We know it's going to sell off, but is it a 1-2-1-2, or is it a 5? If it's a 5, these coins are going to get annihilated. And the whole crypto market's going to get annihilated if Bitcoin's in 5. So, but there's no evidence to show that that's the case or not. So you'll just have to decide, what you want to do on your own. I mean, big picture in ADA, again, had this pump here, but this is too big now, right? It's too big. So we did knew it was pump, but see, now that we took this out, now we can call extension higher off this low. So that's good if you're a long-term holder. But now that's a 3. So see, that looks like a 3 and a 4 to me, right? Off of this low. Let's look at the bigger cycles. You see how you took the peak out? So that's I have to label the 3. I can't be too bullish and label that as another 1, 2. So I think ADA looks like it's trying to push out this 5th wave. And if you're going to get it, you need to stay above 74 cents, make another high, and then it could have a pretty big pullback after that, back down, before it makes another move higher. So that's the likely path. If that's the path, it probably will make it up to maybe $1.50, and then that's it, and then it'll be a rug pull. Now, if this breaks down and breaks this low, then you're looking at a 1-2-1-2. And then you're looking at a much more bullish setup, but it would be a lot of pain because you'll come back down to these 40-cent area. So I think as long as this low holds at 73 cents, you kind of keep it, just like Solana is. Again, the market's trying to figure out what to do, but if we do break down, then it's probably bullish for the longer-term picture, but it would break you down to 43 cents, and then it would move to a 1-2-1-2. And then this low should hold at 27 cents. It'll be a 1-2 setup for a big push out. But we don't know. Unfortunately, we don't know. It'll be up to what Bitcoin does, honestly. Right? It'll be up to what Bitcoin does. What happens here, if we do break this low, it's going to be like Solana, will have a big meltdown. 1-2, 1-2, out. Now, let's look at you see how the RSI, though, doesn't have divergence at this peak. So if we do have let's say we have a big meltdown and we do drop down, there's no guarantee this will hold because this could be a corrective bounce. If this is a corrective bounce, then it actually could break this low at 19 cents and see a capitulation wave down, back down to this area. So it's a tough to say. I mean, I think it really has to hold 70. I mean, if it doesn't hold 74 cents, it could go to 43, be a 1-2-1-2. The alternative is it's a connector wave for this big move down. And you have an A, B, and then you'll have a C leg, and it will take out this low, and then it would head to, somewhere around this cluster of support, a full round trip. That'd probably be Bitcoin melting down in a wave 5 down to 17, down to 30,000 or something. That would be the Bitcoin is at a wave 5 top scenario. This is Bitcoin. If this drops down like this could be Bitcoin hits 84,000, 80,000 scenario. And then this is just the alts get time to run, and then Bitcoin could drop. Altcoins stay higher, or Bitcoin surprises us and doesn't make that low that we think it should make. But that would not be, I don't think that's likely. All right, guys, good luck on that. ADA, ACH, that's an oldie that they had pumped. So again, ACH looks like it's in 3 and 3. Whoops, oh, looks like we got our chart came back to life here. All right, so we got the bounce and then it failed off of this low, and we haven't taken that high out. All right, so let's get rid of this. It's probably trading in a B wave triangle right now, an A. That's what you'll be hoping for. Something like that. As long as you stay within the triangle, you're okay. And you could come back down to 19 cents, down to as long as you're above this. I'm sorry. It could come down to 1.9, but as long as you're above 1.4, it should be okay. But that's what I would be thinking right now. Something like that. But it looks corrective. Anytime I see that, that's not a good sign. So more than likely this would pump and fail and go back all the way down. So it's just like a pump play. XLM. We had the accumulation area. Got that right. Now we're in a bigger decline. So we're looking for... So we had 3 legs down here, and now you have a bigger connector. Let's look here. Yeah, XLM. Let's just take a step back. 1, 2. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and look where we are. All right, so it's a divergence. So it's 5. We're going to have to go with 5 down here. And an ABC connector. So we're in a B wave. If it's 5 down, it could come back up to 48, 50 cents even, and it should have another leg lower. Should. So something like that. This one looks like it's in a 1-2, 1-2 setup. This one has a really good chance of breaking the all-time high, I believe, wherever that is, and really, really launching. That's why here was so cool to accumulate that. And then, but I think you got something like this playing out for now. And the B could be finished here, we just don't know. Something like that. Okay, VET. I thought I had that coin here. Invalid symbol. All right, let's just type it in. Let's see here. Okay. Vetcoin, VChain, three waves down A. Looks like you have some kind of 5-wave down here. So C, B. So A, B, C. Well, maybe that capitulated there. Let's look at the divergence. So you have a lot of divergence. You have 5 down on this leg. So this is a connector wave. Like that. And then you played out another leg higher. So you did take the peak out. So you have to be careful. It isn't something like that would be 3 up. So you have to be careful. It's not something like that. And then it's a connector wave for this whole cycle, and then it makes all new lows. That's possible, or the other option is it's a 1, 2, and either that's a 3 and a 4 like ADA, but it's probably too deep to be a 4, and it's another 1, 2. Yeah, I think that's how I'll label it. It's like a 1, 2, and again, as long as that low holds, it should be okay. It looks like 5 up off the low. So as long as we hold that 3, 8, but then again, you see I have 3 waves off that. I mean, it could still drop down here. So it's again, like all of crypto looks this way. So it's a very, crypto's very indecisive right now in terms of like showing where it wants to go, but there are clues that it should go lower, right? There are clues. So, but I think I would go with this count, but you can't rule out a 3-wave connector and then it just melts all the way down, breaking this low all the way back down to this cluster of support. So you can't rule that out. So I think again, it's a very important level to hold right here. Very important level to keep the bull market intact. If it doesn't, it's at risk of a rapid decline down here or even lower because it's 3 waves with the divergence erased. Thanks for the super chat. All right, ON. Let's see here. We're almost at our sell area. In fact, let's take a look at where we are with it. So you didn't erase divergence, so it's still pushing higher. Still pushing higher. So it needs one more push higher. So it could be finished here. It could take another dip lower. More than likely, it's already done here at B. So we're looking for one more big push higher, big squeeze higher to erase all this divergence at the top here to really do that grand finale of a short squeeze to end the full move, and then it's probably this whole thing is over for a long time. But you're right at close to the end, so you have to be careful. But it does seem to me that we need one more move higher. All right, POWW ammo. So by breaking that low, it went 5 waves down on us instead of 3 waves. So we have a 5-wave decline, which means the trend could be lower, or it's a flat correction. Right away, we look at that 5th wave, and it doesn't look like it is finished. It's 5 down. Now you see where it tagged. We got to be careful it's not a destroy bull or bear chart, which I bet it is. So we now know to anticipate that. So let's go back to our other chart that we had here. There we go. So I bet this is a connector wave. Again, I'm just showing you what I think is going to happen. You'll have to decide what you want to do, but I believe you're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get a run up, and then it will drop a little lower. So this would be the area where it would happen right here, right now. So it would be so if you want to try to, not let, you want to try to, join the market makers in the game they do, this is where you would want to buy it for the pump. And I bet that's what's going to happen. We just see this way too much in the market. So especially when you see the wave looking like this. So good luck. I think this will be a pump, and then that will pump and that will end somewhere around $4 or higher in the next 12 months, something like that. Okay, silver's close to the big buy area we had. Silver and again, posted about silver. Go check my Twitter. There's the arrow. That was on my Twitter. Where do we want to buy it? Right there, and nothing's changed. 26.5 is where I want to buy it, and if it doesn't stay supported there, it would imply such a catastrophic meltdown for the world markets that it's unthinkable to even talk about on our channel, because people get so angry when you talk about those ideas. But you have to understand the big picture in silver. Don't be so stupid to not understand it. Look, you have 5 down, you only have 3 up. If you break this low, that could open up A, B, C connector with this wave 2 dropping all the way back down to the COVID lows. That would be the financial meltdown, Armageddon. We don't expect that to happen. What I expect to happen is a bounce, another high at least, and then you have more room either in a 5-wave move, and then you could pull back. Or it can give you a lot of distance and get up to $50 in the next 12 months. And really, silver and gold and miners are really what I want to be. That's what I am anticipating. So I'd like to be here. But again, you can't rule it out. You can't rule this out as 5 down, 3 up, 5 down. So and again, people get so angry when I say that. I don't know why. Why get so mad? I'm just showing you the chart. There's nothing. Elliott wave theories say that is a possible scenario in the silver market. It's a possible scenario. Okay? I mean, I don't make up the rules, guys. I didn't make up the rules. I don't make the market. I don't make up the rules. I just forecast the weather. And I'm telling you, the weather, yeah, you're going to buy silver at 26 in this area. You just got to understand the bigger picture potential for silver. If we break 26, if we break that, I don't know if I want to deal with it. It may not be a straight line down, right? It may do something like this, right? It may break that trend that I have. It may not bounce there. What if it just does something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it has a nice little relief rally that everybody's like. I won't want to trade it any. I would be out of the market, because this would not be a good setup that I want to see like anymore. So it's got to bounce here, and it's got to bounce pretty soon, and I think it is. I think it will do that, because the alternative is a catastrophe. A catastrophe is coming. Perhaps indices make wave 5, and this makes maybe it could be maybe it's this. Maybe it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The indices make wave 4 down, and then the indices make that 5th wave higher, and silver's here, makes a high, and the indices is in wave 5. Now, if that's the case, that would actually make sense to me, and then the markets are at wave 5 and everything's so. But I won't want to trade silver anymore. I would just ignore it if that happened. But this is a good buy area right here, if you can get this move right here. So good luck. All right. Dogecoin. Again, all these coins, the crypto market is in a push lower. So It's just good. We just need to see where the decline goes. So Dogecoin did find support in the flat area here. It looks like a flat, but it needs a, again, if it's a flat, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it looks like a flat to me. So it looks like to me it could have one more low. Unless 5 is here. Maybe we should put 5 there. 1, 2, but see, that only looks like 3 up. So I got to do that. So if that's the case, it looks like it needs one more marginal low down for the flat to finish in an ABC. It looks like you have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. You haven't really seen the way, well, that could be a 3, 4. We got to be careful that this isn't 3, 4, but it's too deep. Maybe, like, I mean, you could put the 3 there to be conservative. I think it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, but good luck on that. But it looks good, and again, we had the buys here, so. But I think I wouldn't be surprised to see one more push lower to finish the flat. All right, good luck on that. Microvision. All right, looking for this X wave, and it looks like you had your pump's probably over, right? Was we're forecasting Y. Yeah, it's over. So that's probably in. Big decline coming. So this little we anticipated the pump, and it's over. All right, that's I wouldn't be messing with it. GME is another chart that we've kind of just played the chart, tried to ignore all these roaring kitty posts and news and all sorts of crap going on, and the chart's just kind of playing out the way we expected it to. And find my meme coin chart here. Give me a second. So we predicted this 5th wave. We got it. Now wave 1 is in. We should be pulling back in wave 2. So we should top out here, and I believe we'll see that. So I believe we'll see a pullback coming, and then that's then hopefully the real pump that everyone dreams about comes out of that ashes of whatever this is. So I think this cycle's over. The 4-hour cycle is going to come back down. The daily cycle is going to correct. So I think the cycle's over. But again, for weeks I've been telling you this is exactly how it will play out. And the ideal area of support is 25, right around here. Okay, good luck on that. And but I'm surprised the market gives everyone another chance to get in on it before a big move. So this is surprising. Could it still be the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2? It's possible it's in the pump formation, but I just looking at where the IWM is, I just don't think it is that. But there's always a possibility I'm wrong, and it does. But I think it's topped here as long as it's below 34.37. If it could take 34.37 this high back out, then you got to go with the bullish count. It's ready to explode out of this thing. All right, car. All right, Avis. All right, so we had this little dip by here. Got a 3, and we got a flat. Those pesky flats really screw up traders. But that flat looks like it's over. So this looks good. This looks good here. Again, if the market's going to crash right here, right now, then you believe Avis is going bankrupt. This is going to go bankrupt. This needs to go higher. Okay, so it needs to go higher. So it looks like to me we got another swing higher coming. Okay. So yeah. So this could have been a really, so this is again one of these these are the stocks that you could be like going long, and you have a lot of chart support. But I mean, I can't be wrong, so don't go put your whole stack in, your whole, we don't back the truck up. We never say that on my channel. But that's what it looks like to me. I mean, it doesn't get any more perfect than that. Look at that. Looks great. Looks good. Giving this trade to our community. That's good. It's definitely one I'm paying attention to, but I am now. So we'll add that. We'll add that as one to keep an eye on. You get more confirmation of a reversal, then you could trade it against that $75 low, and then who knows what this wave 3 may bring for us. Who knows? A lot of those travel stocks are pumping, right? The airlines and shit, transport. Maybe this needs to catch up with that the travel little boom that's happening. I don't know. But anyway, it needs to hold this low, or it does, or is susceptible to a catastrophe, because then you'll have a connector for the whole cycle break-in, a very shallow bounce, which would open us up down to these lower areas. Basically they imply a go to zero situation for the company. But I look at the chart, I don't think that's what's going to happen. All right. AEM. So again, a lot of the miners look like where you want to be. Again, yeah, historic chart, but not without, you gotta have to looks like that fifth wave extended significantly. So I wouldn't be surprised for another dip lower, but then it's a buy. I think the miners are a buy. They're about to have a 3 of 3 moment in 2025. It would be a buy at 73.27 in this area if we can get that. Buying it here is really risky because it's such an extended fifth wave. It could also be a flat, could have ended here. So I think for right now, I would just kind of look for this. But the miners are close, right? Silver's close, like the metal, like it's almost go time. The miners is almost go time, guys. It's almost go time. But the GDX needs a little more downside. But I think, bigger picture, you're right. Bigger picture should be okay. I mean, I just gave an idea. It could just break out. But it's definitely a sector that has not seen a 3 of 3 in over 15, 20 years. These sectors need more upside. Need more upside. And the only time you would believe, I mean, again, unless you believe all the gold miners are going to go out of business and go bankrupt, then you have to believe in that sector. Needs more upside. Was this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we come all the way back down to $28? I mean, that's what you would be betting on if you that's why I think this sector still has more upside. And then after, after the sector has a wave like this, like look at this wave. You see that wave? Once that has then the markets are ready to collapse. We need that kind of wave, and then it's like, oh my God. So what's going to happen? Maybe technology, all that shit is sideways, lower, down, maybe a marginal high. But these are the sectors that finish up the cycle in 2020, like really get going, and then we're timed. We're ready to roll. That's the idea. Ready to roll for the great crash. But as the indices make the fifth wave, these are the ones you want to be in. These miners. But no one's in them, but a few people that know about them. But this is a potential opportunity. And is this a gold miner, by the way? If it's a gold miner, then I definitely think it's got more downside. Yeah, gold miners are not right where I want them to be just yet, but down here they should be. And this would be one of them for sure. Okay. Qubit, would I average down? I honestly, it depends on how I'm managing my money. Is it like if I'm using house's money to play that, then sure, why not? If it's like money you really need, then I wouldn't be messing with Qubit because it's a lot of money to just lose. Like for me, I would be on the sidelines and come back to it if it's here. If I miss it, I miss it. If you buy it here, you can put your stop loss at 13, but you got to manage your risk. But if you're just playing in it with house's money because you made a ton of money in Nvidia this year or something else, and you just could throw some profits in the casino, then yeah, then buy some here, and then just hold, and then that's what you do, and that's what you had to do with SoundHound and some of these others. It's kind of like that. But I mean, so it's more about your risk management and what you're doing with your money. Decide what to do. All right, LAC. Lithium is in a world of hurt until the green sectors turn, and they're not ready yet for solar, all these sectors. So I just don't like buying any of these lithium stocks and or anything like that. I know people love to buy the green sector right now. It's just not the right time, especially if oil's going to go lower, right? Because nobody buys EVs when there's cheap gasoline. Let's take a look here. So it is in an area that it should bottom out in over time. But as you could see, it's taken its time. It's going to spend some time in this area. I guess if you're a true believer in the commodity, you would want to hold it, and you just you have the bigger picture in mind. Because yes, when oil goes into the triple digits again, people will be begging for EVs all over. I believe they'll be forced to push China EVs into our market, and that's when lithium will see its day in the sun again. But until that time frame, I would just be careful being in it for right now. I think there's more downside coming. Something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. So we're probably in that final wave 5 capitulation wave lower in this, and that's kind of what I see when I look at all the solar stocks and everything else. So long-term investors that believe in it, sure, this is the area to accumulate, but trading, no trading opportunity yet that I see. I'll see. I think I got another low to come. Right, Rich Tech Robotics. What's that about? So 3 down. Again, not a lot of chart data, so it's hard to analyze it. But you have a 3, 3, and it looks like you're trying to push higher. Something like that. So as long as you're above that low, this is a possible pattern, but there's so little chart data. It looks like 5 waves off that low. Uh, yeah, no, that's to extend it. Someone's trying to short this. They're desperate. If this is the count, let's look at how we bottomed here. Yeah, uh-oh. Yeah, so if you're shorting this, you gotta be careful because it could be do this and then really squeeze. Um, so this is another, could have be a major pump opportunity. It looks like this was like shorts loaded the hell up on this, but I believe that will end up being a disaster for them as this X wave plays out. But it probably needs more time to play out before you get the bigger move. All right, all win. I don't see any questions, so I'll come back to your super chat. If I see it, I'll go to it. Z on the next couple. Looking for this area, no change to the forecast. Everything's going according to plan. 1332, 1, 2. Looks like you're in the 3. But you see how you erased that divergence? That's not good. Not good. So it's actually a big push lower. That's well over. It's got to push lower. It's got to push it down. And I think it's coming. And then Clove. So we got this. Let's see here. This fifth wave is over. And now we're pulling back in 5 down. And now there's a connector wave here. Well, let's go to the 4-hour. Yes, so we've got an ABC correction. So you're correcting this whole move now off this low. And it should have one more leg lower. But it could see another bounce in B. It wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce in B, but that more than likely will fail for another leg lower. Right? Something like this. And then 3. This would be too bearish, but it's possible, but I think you'll get one more push higher and then down for the final low for a buy opportunity for a next leg higher. All right, options operator, BBAI. So I think on last update, we kind of saw that little trap come in BBAI. So BBAI looks like it's got 5 up off this entire low. So that would have it bleed back down to $2.40 or lower. So it's you got to play the long game here with this one. It will have its run, but it looks like to me you've got 5 up now, and it's got to pull back in a new wave 2. That usually goes to the wave 4 cluster and then out. You don't have enough data to get an area to buy it yet, so I think you just got to kind of be on the sidelines. But I think again you have to be patient. If you bought it up here, again you chased it, you're going to have to pay the prop pay. You're going to have to deal with the pain as it drops lower into these areas. It would surprise me to see it just continue from here. Just looking at it, but it does look like Soundhound a little bit, where you had a lot of 1-2s, 1-2s, 1-2s. So if it does do this, just take the gift. The market's giving you a huge gift, because I think eventually it'll have its Soundhound moment eventually. But good luck on that. So that's the way I look at it. Here, I mean, they'd have to moon this thing like tomorrow to race the divert. So I think this is where it's going. URNM is in a buy area, right? I think uranium was a buy. Yeah, 39.29. It's almost there. Maybe it can make a little bit lower low, but we're almost there. In a 1-2, 1-2 setup. So that's the chart for uranium, guys. Pretty bullish stuff. The sector of 20, you want it again. It's not Nvidia. Now, what if it breaks this low? Well, then, like silver, something much more horrible is happening to the market, because then you have a higher degree correction, right? Where this was a 1-2 here, and then this again just is labeled wrong, and this was a 3 that the whole cycle ended here, and we would drop all the way back down to 24. It would be a big meltdown. So again, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that would be too bearish for uranium, but you'll have to do what's best for you, and I think it's a good opportunity to place your bet and see what happens with this sector here. But this would be the opportunity right there, something like that. RRC. Looks like 5 up. Massive divergence at that 5 here. Good capitulation there. So clearly we're in a new bull market, and whatever this company does, and we'll want to see it go higher. And it's breaking out to the upside. Again, these are stocks nobody owns. Nobody even knows what they do. But these are the stocks you want to be in, guys. These are the stocks you want to be in. That's what it looks like to me. That's a pretty big bleed off here. Maybe we'll label it again. This is again Elliott wave theory. We'll watch the flat just in case it does want to do that. I think I won't label this part of it. It could be labeled a lot of ways. I could label it as a 1-2 like I had it. The RSI doesn't support that view. I could also do something very unconventional. Put the 3 here, the 4 here, and the 5. And then have this as a 1-2 here as well. So maybe I'll do that. As long as it's above 27.46, it should be bullish, ready for see some wave 3 action. Range resources. What are these guys? What resources are they into? Natural gas and oil. Okay, so they're more like fracking. Well, isn't Trump like pro fracking and all that, right? So I bet the market's anticipating some good upside for them. Now, if oil does drop, then we could see a bigger drop here, right? As this plays out. So this looks like this cycle is over. And you're in something. So either T2's finished, or it's going to take another leg lower. We don't know, but I do think the energy market right now is a wild card. Right, we saw oil moving higher. I think it's going to ultimately move lower as the year goes on. So perhaps this will make another leg down. Perhaps because this is too shallow for this whole move. So perhaps you get something like this, like that. That's probably what you're going to get. And then energy takes off. And as indices are in wave 5, energy is taking off, man. All right, Mara is it is in an area that I wanted to buy it, but I don't want to buy it with Bitcoin where it's trading right now. So Mara, I just labeling as another connector wave where you push lower down to test this $14 area, but you can't rule out a bigger correction with a 3-wave move and an A, B, C for a big connector. So you have a W, X, and you have a big Y, which is this would be a Y, and just drop down just around $10, $9. So you can't rule that out. And until Bitcoin gets its foot in, I just don't like to buy it, even though it would have been in a nice area for wave 2. I just I can't pull the trigger on it, knowing that thinking Bitcoin will go lower to 80,000. So we'll just keep it there. Now, if Bitcoin can surprise us with a big move higher, then yeah, then the 2 is done. And this chart was right all along, and I should have just like followed my own advice and trusted the chart. Trust me, I'm very tempted to just pull the trigger and buy this here. Very tempted, but I just can't, like, with Bitcoin. I think the kingdom of crypto is tied to Bitcoin. Unlike other instruments, you don't correlate. I think with Bitcoin you can correlate, and you should. It would not be smart not to do that. So I want to wait on more for the more capitulation, especially Coinbase here breaking down. Right, broke the low. You can find that we could see even 180. So we gotta be careful. CGC, Tilray CGC is the same kind of trade with the that could be seeing some really good gains in 2025. Is Trump gonna do legalization that nobody's anticipating? That's what almost the charts are suggesting could happen. Uh, Again, we're waiting for this triangle to break down, and if it did, it would be pretty catastrophic. But maybe let's just think about this. You have three up and three down. Maybe what the market wants to do with CGC is something like this or like this, and then they fool us, and then you do that, something like this. If that's the case, it's like you want to buy it like right now, right? And I think that's what's going to happen because I don't think CGC is going to go down and go out a bit. Because essentially, if this breaks, it's going bankrupt. Going bankrupt. So I bet you're going to get something like this, and this descendant triangle is going to trap bear pattern, traders that are bearish, and I bet it will break, and there won't be any follow through. Then people will panic that are short, and then it will start to squeeze out of this, and then come back and retest this peak in 25. That's what I'm thinking we'll see for right now. And if that's going to happen, it could have a little more downside, but not a lot more. Good luck on it. It's a big bet, but I think you have a lot of signs and signals that show that bet is maybe worth taking. But you'll have to do what's best for you. I can't be wrong. AAV. Whoops. Want to see that 621. I think we're heading down there. Three waves up. Looks like you got a 5-wave move here that just failed. Should get one more leg lower. So this one is just, again, energy showing some bearishness here. Despite these rallies, I do want to see it go lower. It could always do another flat and come down, but I don't want to buy it here. I don't want to chase it on a breakout. I want to wait for my pitch here, and this needs to come down. And it just looks 5 waves down, up. Looks like an A. 5 waves down here. Looks like it wants at least another swing lower, even if it wants to rally a little more. And then it's a buy for wave 3 breakout. That's what I'm thinking. All right. HURA. Let's see how that's been playing out. All right, so we had this 1-2. We had the first wave off the low. Now you have unfortunately, looks like a 5-wave move down, but that's okay. Let's see what that means on the bigger picture. You have 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 5 down. No, we called that 5 up because it's diversion. So it's 3 down. This is only 5. Let's look at, it can't really, CBA. I'm just kind of thinking out loud what it could end up being. It's got to be a flat correction, that this was just a flat. It's close enough to the peak. We'll call it a flat. So it's got to hold this low. It's got to hold this low at 380. It looks like you got 5 up, down. Wow, it could be that could have been a massive opportunity on the close yesterday. You could have bought it here and put your stop at 381. Very little risk. Could be massive reward. I don't know, what does these guys do? Are they biology or something? Biotech? Cancer stuff? Okay. Well, that's the setup. If you break that low, the setup's lost, and then this is just some elaborate connector wave, and you risk breaking this low and having the 2 go deeper, so you gotta be really careful. So it's kind of do or die setup. It's a do or die setup. I do think you'll get another upside even if this pulls back, but that's the setup. We'll see if we can get that third wave, I guess, tomorrow. We'll see what happens. PTEN, another energy stock. And it's getting close to our buy area. Again, we haven't FOMO'd into any of these. All these have been, we've been patiently waiting, and I will continue to wait for, let's see, why did this look here? So let's go back. Maybe this target's not right anymore. Let's take a look. We have 3 and a connector there. Yeah, so 570. So it's too soon for it. It looks like it's down. The first A leg is down here. So it looks like to me you've got something like this, and then you have a bigger bounce coming. A bigger bounce, but that bounce should fail. Right, it should fail. Something like that. You see a bounce, almost similar to that. Almost, you should see a bounce coming, and that bounce should fail, and then take you down to the area that I have. Now, if we just get down to this area and capitulate, then it's time to buy it, and then the connector's here. But it looks like to me it wants to bounce in this X here. All right, ETH. Crypto, I think, is crypto here. ETH is in just like the rest of crypto in the indecision point in a 1-2, 1-2. Almost looks like Solana chart. And again, we either break this low and it goes down to 24,000 in a bigger 2-wave 2, or it's already finished. We don't know. I wish we knew. I wish I could see the future. But I think you just have to hold and be patient. If you're in this pattern and you're stuck in this chart, it looks very bullish to me. But we're in this wave 2 right now, and it could go either way. It could break down. It may not. But, I mean, is it bearish? It looks like, let's try to talk ourselves into it. Is it going to do that? A big bearish pattern? 5 up, 1, we broke the high. I can't call it a flat, right? It could be in an ABC. It could have been a flat if that's high was held, but we broke the high. So there's no more flat. So you're left with this. You're left with this. So the super bearish pattern doesn't look likely. Now what if it's in a moderately bearish pattern? This wave 2's here. That's possible. That's possible when that flats down and we drop down to 15.4, but that would be the Bitcoin is at wave 5 peak. So again, we either get this 2 down to 24,000, or we're in this wave 2 and Bitcoin, so Bitcoin goes to 84, 80,000. Ethereum probably drops down to here. If it's lucky, it stays. I doubt it. It drops down to here. Or Bitcoin does have the wave 5 top in. It drops down to 40s, 30,000, and then Ethereum does this flat and it drops back down to this wave 4 low at 1500. But either way, the future looks good. The path could be quite painful, and many will leave and lose their money in trying to hold through this. But the uber bearish pattern, I don't think is, I don't see it with the high break-in right there, that little high, that bro. I think the uber bearish pattern where you can, oh, we're just going to go back to $200, I don't think that's now negated, just like it was in Bitcoin with breaking the high. That's how important breaking that high was. It really confirmed the end of this cycle. It really did, technically. All right, MVIS. I think I did that one for someone else already. And I believe I said it was about to just melt down, right? So that's where I see it going. Next is BT. Let's see here, BTQQF. Not sure what these guys do, but it looks like you got 5 waves up, which means you should go down. That looks like 5 waves off that low. So it looks like it's pumping. It looks like a 1-2-1-2 setup in the pump. Although no divergence there. Let's go to the 15-minute. A little bit, but not enough for me to. So I think you still got to be careful you're not in wave 2 and makes another leg lower. If it does, there's the dip buy is right here. I'll give a dip buy opportunity. I wouldn't chase it here. I think a dip buy is at 142 for the next wave higher, and it probably will make another wave higher out of this situation when it happens. So good luck with that, and it looks, I would say that's probably where we're going, and then higher. And what does these guys do? Quantum encryption. So it's a quantum stock. Okay, we'll add that to the tech basket and keep an eye on that. Okay. Next is I already did the KULR. I think that's the one I accidentally skipped to. J&J. Yeah, J&J is weak. If we would have expected it to come out of its correction. I think that sector, people are panicking because of Kennedy is going to come in, and Trump, they're going to get tough on this sector, show them who's boss. And so investors are scared, which scared investors mean opportunity. So if these stocks want to dump in the next 2 or 3 months because of whatever Trump and them do, that's good opportunity for us. So you got a connector. So it bounced here, got a connector. So the next area of support is at 137, 130. So I do have this ready to go. I would, as a long-term investor, this is an area that I'd like to buy it personally. But I can't be wrong. I mean, but this would be a really good opportunity to buy a stock that I don't know. They paid pretty good dividend. Yeah, I think still. So I think that's where we're heading in J&J. And I think that sector has got another leg lower. It just looks like that. IBM. Let's go to IBM and see where we're doing. How's IBM doing? IBM, we got that pump right. And looks like that wave 5 is over. Looks nice, beautiful RSI. So it looks like we got that third wave is in. And we're in this fourth wave. Should make another. Again, IBM shows there's more upside potentially for the market, at least for now. But the good time is coming to an end very soon, as it makes its final 4s and 5s of the grand super cycle for IBM here. So it's got more upside, but so it's in this wave 4. See if there's any setups. So here you see, unlike others, you failed that. So there's your connector. So it should go lower, which is expected with the degree. So we're looking for 208, this area, for wave 4. If we don't get it, then it's an ABC. If we don't get it and it bounces here, then I'll do that. And this is 5 down. Like I said, the other alternative is it's 333. So one or the other. Or you could come up. So either way, I think it's got more downside somewhere in this area. More than likely we'll get tagged. How we get there is tough to say. So I think right now, but I think that's kind of what I'd be looking for, something like that. For buy points for, yeah, so this, if you're a long-term holder, this is where you want to buy, and that's the wave 4 support. That's a good area to buy it at. So 200. And if you could get it under 200, even better. The wave 4 cluster usually provides support. Now, once this 5th wave is in, that wave 4 can break. It can break. So you got to be careful. But that should provide good support for upside. And what you're hoping for is an extension, right? You're hoping for that this isn't a 3. You're hoping for that this is a 1, 2, and then it just keeps going. So that's why you buy wave 4s, because they could turn into wave 3. They could turn into from a wave 5 to a wave 3. And if you never buy a wave 4, you'll never have an opportunity to enjoy the extensions when the market gives it to you. But I don't show that because it's not likely, given that it's already so extended here. And we saw the RSI, take this out. See, we took it out. That's why I don't show an extension anymore. Okay, the VIX, tricky. It's hard to chart the VIX, but I always do my best. We tend to get it right more than we get it wrong. But I want to see another spike higher in the VIX. But we're in this connector, so it's tough to say. If I'm looking at the UVIX and where the market is right now, we probably shouldn't. We should line up my chart a little differently, just to line it up better with where I think the market's going to go. So we'll put the X here, put the C leg here, and we'll put us in Y. So again, I'm just trying to line this up based on what I think it looks like 5 down here. So just again, it looks like something like that. Now I don't know how low it's going to go. Now we're in this. This looks like 5 up. So could we get another little short-term spike? I think it can do that in B. Just like I said, UVIX could still make another high in 2. But I think ultimately it's got a leg lower, and the UVIX has a leg lower before the move that everybody dreams about. Now, I think if we took this high back out, it would create a stock market crash, though. And I think if the UVIX came back and took out that after hour high here, it would do the same thing. So I don't think those highs will be breached, but I do think it's got to reload and then you'll have 3 down, and then you'll be ready. It'll be time, because then you'll have a big move, and I believe these highs will get taken out. Like that, something high, 80 VIX or higher. But I think this is the look for right now. It looks like 5 up now. Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe it's a triple correct, W, X, Y, X, Z corrective move on B. So again, I don't like to trade the VIX right here. I don't want to trade it, and I don't see a setup unless it makes another dip down, and perhaps you could, try your luck at it for a bounce. It dips down to 1437 against this low. You could try to take a long position on the VIX here to play another bounce. That be, bounce out. So that's another move you could try to play. Okay, so let me go back. I apologize if sometimes people put the same symbols in, and it's just hard for me to keep track of everything, but I will go back and talk about it. It is in the buy area where we had on my earlier videos. It is bouncing and finding support. I think it could either come out of this in 3, but I think the most likely path is about, again, I just think if that's the wave 4 low, you've got to be careful that it isn't a bigger corrective move where you bounce and you fail again. So I think it's 50-50 which one you're going to get. So just place your bets, and I hope it all works out. But this is the first area of accumulation. You would buy it, and then if it dips down again to $2, you buy more. And you just average down. And then you just hold it, and then you come out on the back end later in the year. That's the way to play this, but it was in an area, and it did start to turn where we expected it. So it could be finished here, could be ready to roll. But I personally wouldn't be surprised to see a rally and a failure, is what I'm saying. Okay, there you go, Alwyn. Now I'll go back to your super chat. I figured you had some stuff here, and then we're calling it a day. I got to get out of here. All right, PRGFX. I'm PRG. I'm not sure. Oh, it's specific. Please read it. All right, let me read it. Let me see. Okay, I'll go back to it. One, I don't use log scales on my charts because you don't see the advance clearly using Elliott waves, but some people do. August 13th. So that would be right around here to the October 9th. So somewhere, so we're talking about this part of the chart. We're talking about this little part of this chart, okay? So oh, the recent top of separate wave 3. 1, 2. So you're saying, could this be a 1, 2, and then the next top is a 1, 3? So yeah, so I don't think this is its own cycle. One, because the RSI system I use. But let's just look at it. Maybe I missed something. It's always possible. Yeah, I see what you're seeing. I see how you see that one cycle there, that October cycle, like a 1, 2. So that would be a 1, 2, 1, 2. So the reason I labeled that, yeah, I see where you're going with it. You're right. It could be. It absolutely it could be. I think it's too bullish to say that though. I mean it could be, that would be very bullish, but that would imply that this thing is about to go like crazy high. Like if it's like a 1, 2, and then and that separate in the recent top of wave 3. See, there's no divergence in these shorter time frames. You do here. You see how there's all this divergence here? I don't like to call this a wave 3 top if the top is diverging with this peak here. Now, if this peak was the top, or these peaks here, since they're not, this to me, unless it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the biggest extended fifth we've seen in a long time, and it's going to come all the way back down to 14 cents, which is almost impossible to think. What this tells me, because the RSI peaks here did not take this peak out, we haven't seen wave 3 yet. We used the same logic and the same system to predict QBTS moon. But people thought it was a 3 as well, and they were shorting thinking it was a 5 about to happen, and actually they were shorting wave 2 going into a 3 of 3, and literally someone lost their whole account balance, and they actually lost all their money. And that's why. So I don't think it's a 3. I don't think it's a 3, and so if I label this, you know, I think I could label, maybe I could. It's the only labeling that works for me right now is to label it this way. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this. It's the only labeling that makes sense to me right now. But good luck on that. I don't think it's a 3. I don't think you've seen the 3 yet. You haven't seen this 3. Even though this has been spectacular, it seems like a 3. It feels like a 3. Your RSI tells you it's not a 3 yet. It's not a 3 yet. Your RSI is telling you either it's the biggest extended fifth wave we've seen in a long time, and it's going to completely melt down to 14 cents, a massive pump and dump, or you haven't seen 3 yet. And I think you haven't seen 3, because when you see wave 3, the 3 will take out all these peaks. It should take this out. Look, it hasn't even taken out this peak yet. So as spectacular as this is, we never got the intensity. It's going to be even more intense when this happens. So if you decided to short, I'm not saying you did, but if someone on my channel is shorting this, thinking it's a 3rd wave or we'll get a 5th wave here, you guys are going to lose your entire account balance. I'm telling you, because you haven't seen the wave 3 yet in this stock. It hasn't happened yet. You're in wave 2. And because you're in wave 2, it can go deeper. It will recharge deeper and fool people. But it doesn't have to do that. But this would be the area. So I hope that answered your question. All right. Let's keep going to the NetLat super chat I didn't get to. So anyway, I'll win. I don't understand those symbols. PRGFX. Can you put in the chat what you mean by that? PRG. Do you mean PRG? Like Procter and Gamble? Because if I type in PRGFX, I mean nothing's coming up. So you're gonna can you clarify in TradingView what you want? Hey, it's funny, Darth. You said Newegg. I never give trades that I give, but I did. I got a piece of Newegg too. Yeah. So Newegg, you can't be giving out our secrets, but yeah, Newegg has no setup other than it has charts that like HOLL that pump, HOLO that pump like crazy high, and if you have the big picture the next 12 months in mind, you have to get a piece of it now. Unless you think Newegg's going bankrupt. So Newegg's one of those. It's a lottery play. Tuck it away for a rainy day. Just hold it, buy it now, and then you may wake up very, very rich later on. But use only money you could afford to go to zero. But yeah, Newegg. I saw that Newegg. Oh yeah, I got that. I got a piece of Newegg. Yeah, I mean, these meme stocks are all going to bust up higher. They're all going to pump like that, like we're seeing. It's just the masses. It hasn't caught fever for whatever reason. Yeah, it will. But there's no chart set up. It's a complete gamble play. There's no chart set up on that one, other than it looks like it could be due. But anyway, I'm waiting for Alwyn to tell me what he wants. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, you're playing the long game on that. But it'll happen. YOLO means, yeah, it can go to zero. You could lose all your... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a lottery play. It's lottery ticket play. So I throw money in the casino too sometimes, just to play the casino. All right, so, but there's no chart set up yet in it, but we'll keep an eye on that. So I really, like I said, I really want to do these other ones. I'll win. I'll stay on for a few more minutes, but if not, I'll have to just come back to them on my next live stream. PRN. I mean, again, PRN. Let's see, PRNHX. Nothing comes up. So I'm not sure. Again, not sure your symbols there. So I'll wait a little bit longer, and what you can do, Alwyn, is send me a DM on my Twitter, and I'll try to answer your questions that way, and do it that way. But I got to get going, guys. It was good to talk to everyone. I'll just scan through the comments. I'll just say that you know, Tesla 380, looking for Tesla lower 380-ish, 80s is kind of the idea, or TSLL like $22-ish, give or take. But yeah, I mean, oh, Harmony 1. I missed one. Okay, I go back to Harmony 1. A crypto. All right, maybe I'll go see if I've already done that. What's its symbol here? One USTD. I thought I've done that one before. I guess I'm not seeing it. I guess it's gone. All right, so let's go to it. Oh, there it is on KuCoin. So it must be somewhere in there. All right. Uh, oh, there it is. Okay, so we had the we haven't done it in a while, but we had the 5 waves up, and I guess it's just been a long time since we've updated it. Um, looks like you have some kind of flat that played out here and finished probably right there. 5 waves up, 3 down. Now you're 3 up again. Could it be another flat? So you only have 3 up here and 3. This actually looks like just 3 up. So you only have a corrective bounce and you have 5 waves down. So I'm forcing a flat correction here. It's not good other than it's some kind of 3-wave move up like this, right? And this is 5 down and a flat type look. So what you're hoping for is more upside. In this X will have to play out, and there isn't a lot of data at the moment. So if it drops, it could be a buy opportunity on the for the buy the X wave if it were to drop down again. That would be a pretty big drop, but that could happen if this X wave plays out. So this low has to hold. So what you're trying to hope for is that this is finished at this X and it's coming out. So you have to really hold this high, this low, but it's only in 3. So you're only moving in 3. And this looks like 3 down. So the market is in, again, a massive indecisive mode. It can go either way. It can go either way. So it's a kind of a coin flip. But this one does look a lot riskier given that it's only 3 off the low and looks like a nice 5-wave move down. So it could easily come back and break these lows. So it's in a it's very risky situation if this low breaks, because this could break down and can even break these lows and go lower. All right. Okay, Joe, you're lucky. I just was about to shut it down. All right, but I'll do yours real quick. LLPSN, um, live person. We've been getting this one. Been waiting for this wave 3, and it looks like we got it. Start it, and then it pulled back. And another looks like probably we'll just have to be conservative and say that it's like that for now. So if it's a 4, it should hold this. If it doesn't and goes lower, then it's probably another 1 2 1 2. But see that to me that's a 3. So to me it's breaking out, and it's probably some kind of breakout here. So hopefully it continues higher, makes another high, pulls back. That could be a 1 2 1 2 and just keeps ripping. And then QSI. Warned you guys about this X wave pullback. Now that should be coming to an end soon. Maybe it fills this gap. Need to stay above this. It's pretty oversold. It should be close to the area. Almost there. See that gap? I bet that gap fills, but it's close. It doesn't have to fill. Thinking for one more high, one more push higher. That's the idea. If it goes any lower, then we'll have to look at it something different. Then it's yeah. It seems like it needs one more push higher, but we'll have to be careful in it. Looks like actually A, B, C. Yeah, so it looks like it's got one more push higher. I mean, it just, again, that's what it looks like to me. Again, I'm trying to be technically correct here, but it's yeah, you see I haven't taken this peak out yet. I think you will when this finishes, and perhaps even take this peak out. Then you know it's over. The pump's over. But until then, I think this is just another little dip here. Should continue higher. All right, guys, that's all I got. I got to end it. Good luck. Have a happy new year, and we'll see everyone later. And hopefully, 25 brings everyone good fortunes and good